We back. We back again, man, for another. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, take two. Rick Rocky said, "No worries, happens." Take two, man. Yeah, it is technical difficulties. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what happened, but we're back, and we'll get back into the Mitch interview, which was pretty good, man. So hopefully you guys were tuning in. Louis, man, hey, yeah, appreciate you, my guy, man. Riding with 50-50 to the very end. Technical difficulties, damn, I know, man. It happens. It happens. Part two. See, y'all caught on, man. We don't. This doesn't it doesn't normally happen. Happens sometimes, but
it's been a minute
in a while. Yeah, I feel like everything.
That one time a minute ago.
I think it was in the beginning. You talking about like when we first were, man. I was going through it in the beginning, but I thought we were done with that. But with technology, it's not perfect. But let's actually get back to it. Before we get back to it, man, we see people pulling up. Yeah, Mitch is in the building, man. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's in the pulling back up. Yeah, appreciate y'all coming through. We'll get back into the interview. Hopefully, we can pick up where we left off in just a second. Let me just pull it up here. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But here we go. Let's get back to the interview where we left off.
And assure that you're going to have that dominant offensive line. If you think that we're just going to draft Ashton Jeanty, and again, hopefully our offensive line plays well, right? But there is, I think, a chance that what if our offensive line stays status quo or takes a step back? Like, you never know with a new regime. And we saw it last year with James Craig. We were hoping that our offensive line was going to take a step forward, but it ended up taking a step back. So, I think if they go Jeanty, you got to ensure that your offensive line is going to be just the absolute best it possibly can be. If it was up to me, I'd go Armin Membu, but at the same time, this year's draft class is super deep, and far often, I'll go through and I'll look at drafts and I'll kind of see where players could fall. And if you told me right now, Armin Membu, the mock draft I did the other day with the Chat Sports team was Armin Membu, Trevian Henderson, Carson Swessinger, or Ashton Jeanty, Tyler Booker, Carson Swessinger. Personally, to me, I like the Trevian Henderson in round 2 value a little bit more, but that's just because if you're going to draft Jeanty, he better be the best running back first down, second down, third down. I know without a doubt he's the best running back first and second down. I can't say that he's the best running back in third down in this year's draft.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm not going to be mad if they draft Jeanty. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Right. Obviously, because especially what we seen last season. You know what I mean? Because last season it was hard to watch the Raiders just on offense, just hard. Period. It was just a hard watch to watch every Sunday. And it's been a while since it's been like that. That being said, if you pick a guy, a Jeanty number 6, you're basically saying that you don't. I don't know. For me, this is how I take it. You don't need to have it to be perfect for this guy to succeed, because he's that talented. He's that good. So, and the Raiders have a lot of different needs. And
yes, they do.
And we went into the offseason kind of, I don't want to say we felt good about our offensive line. We know that there's some spots where they can definitely improve on, but it's not terrible. It's not like, oh my God, it's terrible. We got some young guys that can take the next step.
Here's my question.
Go ahead.
All right, here's my question. If you draft Ashton Jeanty, okay, at pick number 6, how many years do you think he's on the Raiders?
4.
Oh, if
history repeats itself, how many, with every running back drafted,
Ashton Jeanty,
4.
Ashton Jeanty to be Ashton Jeanty, running back at number 6 overall. How many years are you getting the running back that you want, that you expect Ashton Jeanty to be? How many years?
Man, if he lives up to the number 6, probably 7 to 8 years. 7 to 8 years. If he lives up to it, because
that game. What about Armin Membu? How many years do you expect Armin Membu to be your starting offensive tackle?
13, 13, 12, 13.
At least 10. If he's a good player,
and this is kind of the battle I've been having with Raiders fans, where I'm like, we might not have loved the Colt Miller pick because he didn't have a name like Ashton Jeanty. It might not have been the sexy pick, but Colt Miller's been an absolute stud on that left side since 2018. And I look at a player like Armin Membu, and I think he's much better of a prospect than Colt Miller. I think that Membu has that Tristan Wirfs type of player mentality in him, where you go, holy shit, our right tackle, and I think he's even athletic enough to even potentially play left tackle. You know, that's solidified for the next 10 years. Where Jeanty, you're hoping you get 5 years of Ashton Jeanty.
Yeah,
again, he could be great. He could be great.
And that's kind of mean severe. We talked about it. It's like this team is not built for that type of risk. Like we have a lot of different needs, and if you look at for example, if the Bears, for example, the Bears can go ahead and make that pick because I can make sense of that because they have pieces on that football team to make it work. Even though we get Jeanty, we still need to add a receiver. We still need to improve the offensive line, like you mentioned. Quarterback, Geno, we understand Geno's solid, but we all kind of can agree that he's more of a bridge quarterback. The defense, let's not get started there. You know, it's just so many different. We're just not there yet. And you just mentioned earlier 2026, 2027. So you're taking a running back where, you know, obviously it's not going to last. We don't know how long he's going to last. He had 400 carries last year. But I feel like it's risky. But for me as a fan watching football, it's going to be fun watching Jeanty every Sunday for sure. But I'm all for the trenches.
There's a lot of picks the Raiders could go with. I think the Raiders could go with Mason Graham. I'd be happy. Armin Membu, I'd be happy. Will Campbell, I'd be happy. Ashton Jeanty, I'd be happy. Jaylen Walker is where I'm like, all right, I got to paint the picture a little bit. Even a guy like Will Johnson, I'm like, I don't really know. I mean, Jahdae Barron, I live down here in Dallas. I'm telling you, Jahdae Barron, I think would be a really very interesting need for us because nickel corner is such a huge need for us right now. And I also think free safety is a massive need for us right now. That not nearly enough people talk about. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we got Isaiah Palomao as our pseudo free safety right now. But one thing we haven't really talked about, we've talked about the running back position, we've talked about offensive line. I don't think we've talked about corner, nickel. One position we haven't talked about that is also a massive need. You could make the argument that it's possibly the biggest need on this team, and that's wide receiver, right? Across from Jacoby Myers. I always make the jokes about Trey Tucker, but you got Trey Tucker, and then you got like Alex Bachman, and you got Ramel Keaton, and then Christian Wilkerson. I think he's still on the team. So obviously, there is a massive need for an upgrade across from Jacoby. So at what point in this draft do you start looking at it? 'Cause obviously, at top of the draft, you kind of favoring Membu, and if you go Membu in the first round, then you either got to go running back in the second round or possibly corner in the second round. Or if you go Jeanty first round, then you almost have to go offensive line in the second round. So at what point do you start looking at wide receivers? And what are some guys that you are targeting?
One of the names that I'm curious if he falls to, if you told me round 2, I think the names the Raiders are looking for in round 2 are Luther Bird and the Mecca Ibuka, which I'll be quite frank. If Ibuka falls to the second round, I think the Raiders are a sneaky trade-up team to try to go up and get them. To me, Jaylen Newell is probably the receiver that I would say in round 3. He's kind of like in this awkward area where I could see him going in the 50s and the 60s range, but the Raiders, I'm telling you right now, are very interested in him. Jaylen Newell is that guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's Iowa State guy.
They've had a meeting, they've had a top 30, they've had a combine. They have met him every single way throughout the entire process. I also know that they like Trey Harris. That could be another player to keep an eye out for. Ole Miss. I mean, we'll see where a guy like Kyle Williams ends up going because his draft stock from Washington State's recently just skyrocketed. And I think that you could see a run on receivers this year, kind of like you saw a run on offensive linemen last year, which forced DJ Glaze kind of go in round 3. I don't know where the wide receiver run's going to start, but I do think that there's going to be a large run, and you're going to have to probably get one in the first 3, maybe first 4 rounds. I do think the Raiders are a team that tries to use one of their 5th or multiple 6th-round picks and try to move up into that top 20, top 30 type of range because where the talent is. But I also think that this team is very confident that they're going to be able to sign a Keenan Allen or a Tyler Lockett after the NFL draft just due to the relationships that Chris Beatty has, the Raiders wide receiver coach.
We pretty much hit up on every position now, but we did forget about which I guess Geno didn't make it a huge need, but from all these reports, we're hearing that the Raiders are going to prioritize getting a young backup quarterback. There's a report by Jay Fowler from ESPN saying that the Raiders are eyeing Jalen Milroe. How do you feel about that? Where would you want to take a guy like Jalen Milroe? It's a very polarizing player.
I did a show the other day ranking the quarterbacks I thought were the most likely that the Raiders would take. I had Quinn Ewers, Will Howard, and Jalen Milroe were the top 3 quarterbacks in that list, and I think they are the QBs that the Raiders, in a way, like, the reason why I love rumors is because sometimes rumors tip the cap, right? If the Raiders are interested in a quarterback like Joe Milton, which it was reported that they were interested in Joe Milton, that tells me that they're looking for an athletic, project, which, no discredit to Aiden O'Connell, is just clearly not Aiden. And then a few days later, the report's coming out that the Raiders are interested in moving on from Aiden. In my mind, you can't be interested in Joe Milton and also like Aiden O'Connell as a backup, right? Like, that's just doesn't make any sense, being a carnivore and just you're going to eat vegan. It's not, 2 and 2 aren't going together. But I do know that they do like Jalen Milroe, and I know that Milroe interviewed very well with them, at the combine, and he is considered this unbelievable athlete. But it's also, you got to consider the type of quarterbacks that I think that, Pete Carroll in this regime, I don't want to say fall in love with, but they fall in love with a guy that they think has it up here. And I do actually think that Jalen has it up here, where he's kind of got that Jalen Hurts mentality, and he's just got a really great head on his shoulder. He's a great leader, and proved in 2023 that in the right system, he could be successful. I'll tell you this right now. If I was Jalen Milroe, and I've said this before, and I think it's the truth, I think there was even a report out on it today. I've been a little bit out of the loop just because of some personal stuff going on. But, like, Milroe was somebody that wanted to go play with the Raiders because I would want to go play with somebody like Chip Kelly if I was Milroe. Learn for 2 years with a dude like Tom Brady. And again, I think we have Pete Carroll, John Spytek. We have all these guys that have been able to do a great job with journeyman quarterbacks. Say what you want about Greg Olson being an OC, very well-respected quarterback coach. And, we have this mold and we have this plan. And I think Milroe knows that it's a 2-year window, and he's just an unbelievably great athlete. And if you're trying to build something in 2 years, again, like Milroe 2023 structure with Nick Saban, without Nick Saban, like we talk about all the time with quarterbacks, when you lose your OC, when you lose your head coach. I mean, imagine a guy like Jalen Milroe losing Nick Saban to the University of Alabama. That's massive loss. And I think that really showed this past year of when he struggled. I like Milroe. I do. I like Milroe.
I personally, with Milroe, high character guy. He has traits. But know who else was a high character guy that had traits that was overdrafted because of his high character and those traits? A guy named EJ Manuel, right? Like, vastly overdrafted because of his character and because of those traits. And now, obviously, in terms of athleticism, Milroe's on a different level. But, that same kind of thing. If you ask anybody, EJ Manuel's the highest character guy you ever want to talk to. Had a rocket arm, went to a prestigious program at Florida State. Everything else, but he didn't produce enough on the field, and he was overdrafted. And I feel that could be the trap the teams are falling into with Jalen Milroe. But speaking of trades, you brought up Aiden O'Connell. There were rumors about him being traded. There were also some rumors that came out about potentially Tyree Wilson being a guy that gets moved on draft day. Like, if you draft Jaylen Walker, that kind of makes Tyree Wilson unnecessary almost. So, for each of those guys, kind of what do you think the type of compensation the Raiders would get for them?
So, if anybody's watching the show ever, again, Mitchell Wren's Raiders Report, I put out a video 3 days ago on some draft day trades that I could see end up going down. I said if we're able to get a 4th-round pick for Tyree Wilson, I would say that that's probably a fair compensation. And, for me, I feel like I've been a very big Tyree Wilson supporter. If Rob Leonard and Patrick Graham look the nation in the eyes and they're like, hey, we're going to move on from Tyree Wilson, then I got to believe them. Just where I would say, to the Raider fans out there that would call us stupid for not drafting Shedeur at 6, if Tom Brady is willing to pass on Shedeur, somebody that I think knows that guy better than a lot of other teams, If he's willing to pass on him at 6, what does that tell you? Maybe what he thinks about him. But Wilson's definitely a name to consider to be on the trade block just because of all the Jaylen Walker. Mykel Williams is another name that I've heard recently. The Raiders are showing some interest in. They went out, they got Malcolm Kuntz really soon, and they're looking for this off-ball linebacker. Somebody, Patrick Graham once drafted Azeez Ojulari, and I think that they're kind of looking for a very similar style player in that, where it can be an edge, can be an Andrew Van Ginkel, Kyle Van Noy, Bruce Irvin, I think is another just overall athlete, long, lanky. Walker would be interesting, but Tyree Wilson, I think Dylan Parham is another player that might shock some fans, could be on the move, but he's a 3-year starter in the final year of his contract, and if they do really like Jordan Meredith, and if they do really like Alex Kappa, and from what it sounds like, they like DJ Glaze a lot more than what I expected. If you draft an Armin Membu, you kick over DJ Glaze, and I think it kind of makes Dylan Parham potentially the odd man out there in that situation. And if that was the case, I like Parham. I would start him, but I would think Parham could be an interesting player. Also, Aiden O'Connell. We'll see what happens there.
We'll see, man. Real quick before you get out of here, prediction at number 6 this Thursday.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. I really want to just stick to my guns, and I think the obvious answer, honestly, I still think Ashton Jeanty is an obvious answer in terms of if I was a betting man, Jeanty would be a name that I'd go with. But I'm going to go with the name that I've wanted the Raiders to pick all along, and I'm going to go with Armin Membu, and I'm going to stick to that gun.
Okay.
If I was a betting man, I would bet on Jeanty. If I want the Raiders to do what I would do, I would draft Membu.
We'll see, man. Hey, the Raiders are a pretty unpredictable team. Every year, the draft in general is just like you can't really predict it. There's always something crazy that's going to happen. That being said, Mitch, man, we appreciate you coming through. If you could let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
I mean, if you're looking at the screen right now, I think I put just about everything I possibly could on screen. But Mitchell Renz 365 for social media. We will be live Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the NFL draft. I know last year we were live close to 21 hours for that, and we had almost 300,000 people there. So if you're part of the nation and you want to tune in for the NFL draft, not trying to steal with what you guys do, but just trying to do what we can here.
All good, man. Hey, man, there's plenty of Raider content creators out here. Mitch is one of them, and he's doing his thing over there at Raiders Report. Mitch, once again, man, appreciate you coming through, man. And for everybody watching, the show will go on, man. The show will go on, man. Appreciate you coming through again, Mitch.
Let's go Dubs.
Let's go. We back.
Welcome to the 50-50 show.
We back, man. Great interview with our guy Mitch, man. Was able to come back to the show and obviously talk about the Raiders. The draft's around the corner. We'll get into all of the usual stuff that we like to talk about. Flag on the play, notable quotables, all that good stuff. But if you haven't already, make sure to clock in. We are going live on both our channels. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Man, like we said earlier, I don't know if you guys missed it. We did have some technical issues. Space Beast says it was your IT team failed severe. He's okay. The IT team. Okay. Yeah, man, it's all bad right now. But before we even get to the show, man, we gotta, man, our guys, man, that support the show. We gotta shout them out, man. My guy Raider Smoke with the super chat. I appreciate the support, my guy. He says, my guys, like and sub, man. Appreciate it. He says, Severe Lake Show with the bounce back W. I see
Needed it.
Draft night coming up. I think they went ahead and beat the Timberwolves. I was looking at the box score. Anthony Edwards had 0 assists, 25.0 assists. I think that might have contributed possibly. I don't know, man. That's a
stat line. That's a normal stat line.
It's a normal stat line. Damn.
Normal stat line for Ant. He'll tell you straight up he ain't pass you the ball, bro. He ain't. He don't make that no mystery.
Man. But yeah, man. So it's a few playoff games going on right now, or I think they've pretty much completed. The Bucks lost against the Pacers. Thunder is taking care of business against the Grizzlies. I think that's going to be a clean sweep.
Man,
but yeah, the Bucks
51 points first game.
51 points, yeah. That's
first game 1, yeah, and they beat them by a dub this last game.
That's tough. Are they the favorite to win the title? Would you say? Are they the favorite? I know they're young.
Boston's probably still the favorite. To be honest with you, Boston comes out East, they're gonna still be the favorite, unfortunately.
Because of the experience.
OKC, I mean, yeah, they get experience, and they got just the way their team is built. They're just a really real constructed team. So, if anybody can do it, OKC, they got some dogs to do it. But like you said, they're young, So and that experience matters. We see what's happening. We see what happened Game 1 with the Dubs and the Rockets. Right?
I told you, bro. I told you.
It matters. The Rockets are the better team, but the experience. That's like the only thing they have.
Because even this is way back. Even with the Lakers, this is the young and upcoming Oklahoma City Thunder when they had Kevin Durant and James Harden, and everybody looked at that team like, man, look at the young guns. They're talented, more athletic, Yeah. But the Raiders had the experience and they took care of business, and that was back then, and it still holds today. You say it again?
You said the Raiders, like the Lakers.
Oh, the Raiders.
I wish the Raiders. Nah. But that's that part of that series too was that the Lakers were just a bigger team too. They had like Lamar and like they had bigger guys out there. They were. I think the biggest player on OKC was like Serge Ibaka. So the Lakers had experience and they had like the size to really like just bully those guys on the court. So it made it tough for them.
Yeah, most definitely, and. Yeah, man. Hey, we'll see how that shape. The playoffs has begun for the NBA. I mean, that's usually when I start watching because, man, like these days I kind of like keep it solely focused on football. The Raiders. I just need them to win. That's what I need them. If the Raiders start winning, ain't nothing better than playoff NFL football with your team playing. Oh man, because even that game. I know the Raiders end up losing against the Bengals, but watching that game, that was just so fun to watch, bro. And
it was a meaningful game,
game, and we haven't had a lot of those types of games
at all.
So hopefully we'll have that, within the next, according to Mitch, if you checked out the interview, he was saying 2026. And I said that too. I was like, man, like looking at how they kind of approaching the offseason, they're kind of taking their time. They're taking a measured approach. They're not gonna really overpay anybody. They let their free agents sign other places. Geno Smith trade kind of makes you think like, oh, okay, maybe, but Geno Smith kind of fits that bridge quarterback type. So we'll see. Anything happen.
Yeah.
Anything happen, yeah. But. My guy D Mokes with the super chat, man. Appreciate the support. Oh man, we'll give you the round of applause too. He says kicker at 6, or I'm crashing out. Oh man, you trying to take it back to Janikowski days?
Man, imagine. I can't imagine having been somebody that was like really following, because I wasn't super following football then. Like I was a fan, but I wasn't like super following like who we draft, who we picking, like who's the prospects. Imagine that happens where you take a kid. Oh my goodness, bro.
But I don't think the younger Raider fans, I don't think they realize like how bad it was.
Yeah,
they it's bad for them because they never seen the team go to the playoffs. I mean, they've probably seen like 2016 maybe, or 2016 pretty much, but they haven't seen like how bad dysfunction. I mean, they've seen this crazy. They've seen a level of dysfunction, but Janikowski in the first round,
bro.
Hayward Bay in the first round, like taking whoever the fastest player, literally. Like draft experts, anytime there was a guy that ran a 4.2, oh yeah, the Raiders.
Yeah,
I see the Raiders possibly taking him in the first round, just because he ran fast, not because he's good at football. It's because he ran fast.
DeMarcus Van Dyke, remember that dude?
Oh, DeMarcus Van Dyke, yeah.
But see, the thing about but the thing that's out of Miami, but the thing that makes Janikowski in the first round so bad. Is that's low key? That's one of our best first round picks ever, bro. That's one of our best first round picks ever.
DeMarcus?
That's crazy. No, Janikowski.
Oh,
DeMarcus was in the
Janikowski.
third.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, DeMarcus Van Dyke was third round, I think, if I recall correctly.
Nah. That I can't.
One
I
of our
can't
best
consider
first
that.
round picks ever. Bro.
I can't consider.
It's
I can't
a top
consider
10
it.
first round pick for us.
No. Well, that's just that's disrespectful. Nah. I can't say it's because it's bad.
First round pick.
It's always gonna be bad. It's always gonna be bad. It don't matter if he's the greatest kicker. It don't matter if he's the greatest kicker.
That's how bad we are. That's how bad
a kicker is a kicker. He's not going to be a quarterback. He's not going to be a wide receiver. He's not going to be a running back. He's going to be off. Those players are way more valuable.
Yes.
You know, nothing against kickers, but just keep it real.
Should we have drafted Janikowski in the first round? Probably not. He would have been available later. Probably. It doesn't change the fact that he's one of our best first round picks ever. Bro, doesn't change that fact.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, it's damn. The chat is wild, man. I just seen the comment here. This is crazy. Super Omicron says we back like baby back ribs, man. What up, Severe? Hey, man, appreciate you for coming back, man, and staying true, man, and supporting us, man. I know we had some technical issues, but you're able to come back, so appreciate you. Raider Loso says Jeanty's a solid pick at 6. Whoo. And Severe has something to say about that.
I'm not doing it, man. Like, I wouldn't say like it's a bad pick. It's just you don't get the value you can get.
Yeah. But hey, like I said in the interview, I was like, hey, bro, like Jeanty's one of those guys like I would want to watch every Sunday. Because he brings that type of excitement level to the Raiders offense, running the football. Which we haven't had in a while. I mean, maybe Devontae Adams was kind of that, but Devontae, I don't know if he was the same. Like Darren McFadden was a guy like that I would like, man, like when Darren McFadden was healthy and playing well in that, you know, Hugh Jackson offense, he kind of brought a little bit of excitement to Raiders offense where you kind of look forward to, but right now the Raiders don't really have an exciting piece outside of Brock Bowers. I really like him, but you know, it's hard, man, when you don't have that quarterback. And hopefully Geno is going to be like a solid guy in there, so he'll be able to get the playmakers of football. But running back, man, if you got a guy that could take it to the house at any given moment, break a few tackles and have a 50-yard run, which you know what, that's pretty much what makes a guy like Jeanty special. That'd be fun to watch every Sunday. But like as far as like the way we're kind of talking about it, I think people are taking it the wrong way. They're like, man, like we're calling him trash. He's not good. Yeah. It's not that. It's just we see how the Raiders are currently constructed, and it's just not going to make any sense to take a running back that early.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's like I just don't. Like, I wouldn't be excited. Like, I wouldn't even be excited to like, oh man, I can't wait to see Ashton Jeanty. Like, I don't even think I'd be that excited. To be honest with you, I'd be more excited to see, you know what does this offense look like with Chip Kelly? I'd be more excited about that. I want to be like, man, I can't wait to get my hands on this. Can't wait to get my hands on this Ashton Jeanty film and watch what. Like, I don't feel that kind of way about him as a player. It's like, but it's like he's still good. It's like Tim Duncan. Like Tim Duncan is still good, but it's like you ain't nobody like, man, you see that Tim Duncan highlight? Like nobody pulling up, like, you know, like he's just a very effective player. That's how I feel about Ashton Jeanty. He's a very effective player, but he doesn't have one single like dominant trait, in my opinion. Like he has good vision. His contact balance. Contact balance is like that. That would be it. But like to have good, like, know what that's like? Know what having good contact balance is like? It's like being a boxer and having incredible punch resistance. Like, so you getting hit in the face a bunch of times, you ain't ducking no punches, you just don't get knocked out. So it's like one of those situations where, like, to have contact balance, you getting hit all the time. Like Travion Henderson has great contact balance, but he also has great explosiveness. Ashton Jeanty doesn't have that second part. I
think he's explosive, but he's not as explosive as a Henderson. If you're comparing him to Henderson, obviously Henderson's a more explosive guy. He's a faster guy, but the thing is though, I think you're saying that from the outside looking in, but like for example, like Brock Bowers. When you watch Brock Bowers play, you're like, oh man, yeah, he's a really good player, great player. But you weren't like looking up Brock Bowers highlights, like, oh man, he's so exciting to watch. But when he plays for the team that you follow every Sunday, you're gonna enjoy watching him play for the Raiders. It's just that you've seen him play this year. You see how great a player he was. I think that's gonna hold true for Jeanty. Is once he dons the uniform, he plays every Sunday. You're gonna be like, man, Jeanty, bro. Did you see what he did last Sunday? You know what I mean? Like you're gonna. I think it's gonna change. I think it's gonna change. Your outlook of it is gonna change just because you're looking at it like, oh, he plays for Boise State. He doesn't play for the Raiders. I don't really care. But once he plays for the team, he started making plays.
There are dudes I love. Like I love watching Trey. I love watching Taj Brooks. I love watching LaQuinn. There's players I love. Like, oh man, like I love watching this dude play. Like Jeanty's not one of those dudes. I'd be like, oh man, I gotta sit down and watch Jeanty like run. You know, like we played them not the year before, but we played. UCLA played Boise State and I think it was the LA Bowl or something like that, and beat them.
I don't know, man.
Ironically, but I wasn't like I didn't walk away from that game like, man, I'm really excited about this Ashton Jeanty kid. You feel me? I was more excited about J Mike than I was about watching Ashton Jeanty.
Stylistically, what type of running back do you like? I mean, did you like all right, how did you feel about Marshawn Lynch?
I like watching Marshawn Lynch, but Marshawn Lynch was violent. Ashton Jeanty's not violent. He's just slippery. Like he just breaks tackles and it's like smooth. Marshawn Lynch, it was like watching like a comic book take place on the football field. Like it was nothing quiet about his game. It was like he was violent and he was super hella explosive too. Like not like Jeanty. Jeanty is like he's slippery. Like Jeanty is really good at, hey, you know what? He knows how to turn his body and he knows how to take the hit and not go down or spin at a certain time while he's getting hit. It's like real. It's graceful almost. And that's not exciting to me. Like I don't, It's okay.
Like, do you see the comparisons to some people are comparing him to LaDainian Tomlinson in his style? Do you see that?
I can see where he's like
his contact
LT.
balance.
You would never really get like a good hit on LT. Like he would always, you never like got a square hit on LT.
Similar size.
Jeanty is the same way. Are they the similar size? I feel like LT.
LT was 5'10" and Jeanty's 5'9".
What is Jeanty listed at the combine?
That's
it. Jeanty's 5'8". What is he listed at the combine?
What was LT listed at the combine?
Yeah. Well, once you get to the league, it's gonna be your height. But it's gonna be your height.
I'll look this up. Let's see.
Generally gonna take what they. But I don't see I see more Maurice Jones-Drew out of Jeanty than I do LT. And Maurice Jones-Drew is way more explosive than Jeanty. So it's more like a cross between Maurice Jones-Drew and Ray Rice at his prime.
Well, if you hear Maurice Jones-Drew, who was one of the best running backs that we've seen, the way he talks about Jeanty, like he's the best running back prospect that he's seen. He feels like he's a better running back prospect than Saquon Barkley, because Saquon Barkley is a guy that gets you like. He'll get you like 1 yard, 2 yards, or he'll lose a few yards because he's hunting for that big play, but then he hits that big play. But a guy like Jeanty, he'll take the 4 yard gains, the 5 yard gains, 6 yard gains, and then he'll give you the explosive play. That's pretty much what my guy was saying. He was comparing him to a guy like Saquon and saying that he was a better prospect, Maurice Jones-Drew.
I don't agree with that take at all. Saquon is like,
hey man, this is Maurice Jones-Drew. This is what he's saying. Yeah. I mean, like, hey, I didn't say it. That's what he said. Yeah, I was like, oh damn, that was interesting. Hey, y'all should check it out too.
Bigger, faster, stronger. Played against better competition. I think a better pass catcher, a better block. Like outside of pure contact balance, like there's not a single thing Jeanty has an advantage in over Saquon. And it's like he's like Saquon is a physical. Saquon put up 29 reps at 225. There are NFL offensive linemen that ain't putting up that many reps at 225. So, but that's not to say like being able to rep 225 that much. That's not a testament to how strong you are. That's a testament to how much you've worked at that particular thing.
5'8.5 inch. 5'8.5 inch. So 5'8". He's 5'8".
5'8", because them dreads is that half inch. So it's 5'8".
Let me see LaDainian Thompson. Height. Let me see. Oh, I think I looked this up before. Oh, 5'10". Let me see combine. This is back in the day though. I don't know if this is gonna be even accurate.
Yeah.
Combine.
Yeah. Right, LT. That's what, but it's not like it ain't like the Stone Ages where like they didn't.
Well,
like,
I mean, it's up there though, like because technology, you know what I mean. Like it's a lot changed since.
But how they measured it, like a lot of this stuff don't change. They use similar methods, like time stuff.
But the way they talk about the combine and how much has changed since like now and to how it was back in the day, it's like way more. Like they're trying to make.
But they mean like when they talk about back in the day, they mean like early like late 90s, not like the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Because like people have been following the draft. The draft has been a big deal for since like the 90s. Like Mel Kiper Jr. helped turn it into a big deal. It's been a big deal since like the started in like the 90s, and now it's like a massive deal.
LaDainian was 5'10", 221, ran a 4.46 and a 40-inch vertical.
Bro, exactly. They ain't touch, bro. Not even the same level of athlete.
No, I'm not comparing to LaDainian Thompson. That's like crazy to even do that right now. But like LaDainian Thompson, as a Raider fan, man, the games that he had against the Raiders, man, it made me hate him, but respect him at the same time. Like he was an all-time great running back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, like Jeanty is RB1 in this class. Like I've been saying that, but to compare him to these generation, to be a generational talent, you have to have elite traits. Ashton Jeanty has one elite trait. I think he has one very high level trait in terms of his vision, and other than that, he has no other elite traits. He's not particularly explosive, and he's proved that he's not particularly explosive because he's avoided every single timed drill. So when you do that, that lets me know like you don't have confidence in your ability to perform well in these drills, which is usually you're not very explosive. We've seen what he did against Mountain West competition. He didn't do that against other competition. Outside, he had a good game against Oregon. I think that's the best game he had his entire career. You can't remove that game from his career. That's the best game he's had in his career. But outside of that, he hasn't done it against big level competition. People, he ran for 100-something yards against Penn State. But he did it on like 3-point-something yards per carry with no touchdowns and multiple fumbles. So it's like, okay. And people are like,
can you name anybody on that Boise State team?
But no, because I don't follow their roster.
Well, but my point is that like it's not like he's playing with like a lot of great players, like let's say Ohio State, a guy like Henderson, for example. And I'm not saying that you're saying Henderson is better than Jeanty, but I'm just saying like he's literally the team. He carried that team. He made them relevant. But hey, we'll see how that's gonna be. And Jeanty's gonna be a player that I'm definitely gonna be paying attention to once the season rolls around, like to see like. Because he's a guy that, like, day one, running back should be able to contribute day one. Like, their transition is a little bit more smoother compared to other positions. But
be able to. But
yeah,
5'9" running backs that lack explosive speed. How many of those guys do great in the NFL?
I mean, I can't say it from the top of my head. I mean.
How
tall is Alvin Kamara?
Alvin Kamara is like 5'10", 5'11".
5'10". He doesn't look like a big running back.
But guess what? Remember, Alvin Kamara's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season. Alvin Kamara's
Bucky Irvin. He's that big, is he?
How fast was Bucky Irvin though? I don't remember what kind of. I don't remember how. Fast
I don't think he ran well, but obviously football speed is different from obviously the combine. People always look at the 40 time, but football speed is a real thing.
But I don't look at the 40 time. I look at how can you defeat an angle? If a guy has an angle on you, can you beat him to that angle? I don't see Ashton Jeanty do that.
I seen a lot of long touchdowns.
In the Mountain West. I see a lot of touchdowns after he's breaking tackles. I've seen that. I've seen him break tackles. But I ain't seen him beat an angle and get around the edge when a guy has an angle.
What did he show you against Oregon? Did that matter when he played against Oregon?
He had one long touchdown, but he still got hit. So he showed me he broke a tackle and he had a long touchdown. So I didn't see him.
But he didn't get caught from behind is what I'm trying to say. He didn't get caught from behind.
NFL players rarely get caught from behind. That's the thing. It's not about getting caught from behind.
I seen Josh Jacobs get caught from behind, and you compared him to Josh Jacobs.
NFL play, if you have an angle on a guy, that's what I'm saying. If you have an angle on a guy,
damn,
but you rarely see.
Bucky Irvin is 5'10".
So he's bigger than Ashton Jeanty. So
no, but he's 5'10", 195 pounds.
Okay, yeah, Ashton Jeanty's like 5'8", 200 something, 206, 209.
So looking at Bucky Irvin, you would think that he's like 5'8", like he's really small, just because he doesn't weigh a lot, but he's actually taller than. But Jeanty is like what 5'8", 220 or 211.
Yeah, bro. 220 is a whole lot different to it.
Hold on,
he's like 209. I thought he was 209. I thought at his pro day, if I recall correctly.
But he's pretty solid. Hold on, let me see.
He's solid. Nah, he's built.
Damn, I just had his
220, 5'8" at 220. That would be insane.
He had muscle on his. He would even be human. Let's see here.
So how big is Saquon? How much does Saquon weigh?
I'll pull it up right now. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're talking about Jeanty, and obviously Severe is giving his take on why he wouldn't fit the Raiders, why it wouldn't make sense to draft him. He feels like he's a number one running back, but you don't feel like he's a generational running back. I think that's one of the things that you mentioned before.
Definitely not generational. Like the only generational running back I've seen, like I've actually been able to witness, was Saquon. I thought Saquon was generational. Like Bijan was RB1. There's been Zeke was RB1, but I didn't think Zeke was generational.
6 feet.
Who, Zeke or Saquon?
Saquon 6 feet. Let me get the.
What is he weigh? Because like I think like come body or build wise, I think him and Jeanty are like similar. So if Saquon weighs like 240, then Jeanty might weigh like 2. Well, he's 6 feet, so that's 4 inches. So if Saquon weighs like 230ish, then Jeanty probably weighs maybe 215.
6 feet, 233. 31-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands, 4.4 speed, 1.54 10-yard split, 41-inch vertical.
Look. Everybody look. People already knew. People knew that, and that's what I'm saying, bro. People knew Saquon was by far the best back in that draft class.
They compared him to Barry Sanders. That was his NFL comparison. They compared him to Barry Sanders. Dan, that's wild, bro.
And now they're trying to compare.
There'll never be another Barry Sanders.
Never.
Like the stuff he used to do was crazy. But that's my point with Saquon. Saquon was considered the best player in that draft. Him and I think that's the Quentin Nelson draft. Like him and Quentin Nelson were considered the two best players regardless of position. And what did Saquon do? He went out there and he did everything because he has nothing to hide. So if you're that level of athlete, you go out there and you do it. Like, and that's just what it is. And the fact that Jeanty doesn't do it, like, that's cause for concern. Like, that's cause for concern. He probably didn't want to risk showing a 4.5 speed. I don't know, like maybe showing. You never know. Anything could happen. But yeah, I mean, if he knew that he could run a 4.4, then he probably would have done it. He would run.
If he knew he could jump 40 inches, he'd jump. It's like, it's not like it's a quarterback where, like Michael Penix went out there and he ran. He ran a 4.5.
We'll see, man. But that being said, he's just one of the players that's linked to the Raiders. Obviously, I started the show by saying that as draft day approaches, we start hearing some rumors and seeing what sticks and what makes sense. And a guy that's connected to the Raiders, we kind of talked about it on Around the Shield, I think, but was Armand Membu. Was a guy that is obviously with the Cole Miller situation. Everybody's like, oh, the Raiders are interested in, upgrading the offensive line. I'm kind of warming up to it. Like at first I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not like he's a perfect prospect at offensive tackle, but he's like, what, 20 years old, like 21 years old. Yeah. He's young. He's an elite run blocker. What do the Raiders want to do? Yeah. They want to run the ball.
They want to run the ball, yeah.
Put him at right tackle, move Glaze inside. I feel like that makes put the best offensive line out there. You can move Glaze inside, move Alex Kappa out of the lineup. That's addition by subtraction right there. Like you just move Glaze inside. Right. And the Raiders want to run the football. That they want that to be their identity, and they're going to take a running back at some point in the draft. So I kind of can get behind that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Membu? I know you're not. I think you have other guys that you have higher at offensive tackle.
I would understand the method to the madness, because what people don't realize is that in today's NFL, right tackle is damn near as important as left tackle. And I think, the Detroit Lions are showing people that. That's why they have bookend tackles. I'm just trying to think of another team. The Eagles, same situation. So I think that right tackle is an extremely important position now, because a lot of times Max Crosby usually lines up over the right tackle. So a lot of times teams are putting their best pass rusher on that right tackle. So you have to have a guy on that side now. It's not like back in the day where you only needed a left tackle. Now the good pass rushers they start to identify that. So know what? We're gonna rush from the other side. So it's very important to you have a strong right tackle. I never thought Membu was a bad prospect. It's just that I didn't feel he was worth a top 10 selection. I thought I had several guys ahead of him. Josh Emmons is a guy I had ahead of him for sure. Kelvin Banks, a guy I had ahead of him for sure. But I would understand why they would go with Membu. I would understand it because of his traits and because of what they've seen in the past. Tristan Wirfs was like a similar situation where he's a guy that played right tackle for most of his collegiate career, and then I think he started right tackle in the NFL, and then they transitioned him over to left tackle, and then he's taken over left tackle. He's been a very good player at left tackle, so I can understand where Spytek seeing that is like, know what, this worked for me in the past, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, and another thing too is that like Spytek, like you mentioned, he has been a part of a team that's evaluated the offensive line pretty well. So if he's comfortable taking a Membu, then I'm good with it. You know what I mean? Like, because he sees how it can work out. He can see how it can eventually work out for the Raiders, and he's done a pretty good job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were able to build a real, I think probably one of the best offensive lines in football with Tristan Wirfs, and obviously they had, I think, didn't Rob Hunt play for? No, he played for Miami. No, he played for Miami. That's a whole different player. But anyways, they were able to build a strong offensive line, and Spytek was a part of it. So if he feels like Membu's a guy, or even a Kelvin Banks, you never know, they might trade down. Yeah, the possibilities are endless.
We could trade down to get Membu. That would be ideal. I would be cool. If we trade down to get Membu, I'll be good with that. If we trade down to get Jeanty, I wouldn't hate that either.
And I think that's a move, and we'll get into why we feel like that's exactly what they want to do in a little bit on one of our flags on the play. But real quick, man, we got to catch up. We got a few super chats. My guy Raider Smoke again says, which pick was more shocking, Hayward Bay or Pharaoh? Hayward Bay. Pharaoh was shocking. It was shocking. Hayward Bay, I was like, what? I was sold. I was like, bro, we're gonna get Michael Crabtree. I was like, best receiver, college football, like number one receiver. Most people's, going into the draft, I thought it was gonna be, Crabtree. But man, when you don't, in Al Davis' eyes back then, especially in later year, if you don't run like a 4.3,
exactly. And know what? That's another situation. Crabtree didn't run, and when Crabtree didn't run, I knew we weren't gonna take him. I thought we were gonna take Jeremy Maclin. So I was like, I was watching Missouri highlights of Jeremy Maclin. I figured, okay, this is gonna be our next wide receiver, and then we took DHB. I knew he was gonna take Pharaoh. I had told people when we beat the Broncos that year, late in the year, to basically take us out of the top 3. I was like, yo, we're gonna be out of the top 3. We're not gonna be able to get Quinnen or Nick Bosa, and we're gonna end up taking Ed Oliver or Cleveland Farrell. I knew at that point that's what was gonna happen. So when we took Pharaoh, it wasn't a surprise. I was like, I knew this was going to happen. Only reason surprised that people were trying to say Josh Allen, but Josh Allen, he didn't fit Paul Gunther's defense. So I knew it was going to be a bigger. If he's going to take an edge player, it's going to be a guy that was bigger. So
yeah, it was the Raiders were like in a tough situation because they definitely wanted to get like a Nick Bosa or even a Quinnen Williams, but obviously they weren't in a position to do so. But I still wouldn't have taken Pharaoh. Like they should have went with best player available, Josh Allen, or whatever the case may be. But
the argument made that Cleveland Farrell was the best player available. He was unanimous All-American. He was.
A lot of people had him going like in the 20s, not in the top 5. That's why Smoke is saying it's shocking.
Because he wasn't. No, why? Because he put up hella production, but he didn't have traits.
Right.
So he was the best. He was the defensive MVP on that team that had Dexter Lawrence and Christian Wilkins and Trayvon Mullen, and I think they had Isaiah Simmons at that point too, right? 2-time national championship,
right?
2-time All-American, unanimous All-American, won the Ted Hendricks Award, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, had all these accolades, and the production is just he didn't have the traits.
He didn't have enough to be warranted a top 5 pick because we've seen like players who, were pretty successful in college and they get drafted like in the 7th round or, they get drafted in the later rounds because they literally are not like the average or below average athlete. Like it's pretty clear. But Hayward Bay was like, he had the traits, I guess you want to call it. He ran the 4.3, was 6'2", had size, whatever the case may be. But like, man, what did he have? Like, did he even have? Like, he never had like more than 20 catches. It was crazy. Like his production in college was non-existent. He was never a number one receiver. He wasn't a number one receiver. He wasn't a number one receiver on his team.
He was number one receiver. He had a quarterback that was trash.
Okay, well,
he had a quarterback that was bad.
Hold on, let me see. Let me look at Hayward Bay's production because I remember I seen it. I was like, what? How did they really took solid dude?
He might have never had 1,000-yard season, but he didn't have it wasn't like he never had like a like he's in the 200s. Like he was in this like 700-800s. But their offense was
supposed to be drafted in the first round. He would have in a normal NFL draft. Like where would he have went?
He was still going first round.
Not knowing now. You say he was still going the first round?
He was still going first round for sure.
Oh, okay, man.
He was still going first round. He's not going top 10. He's still going first round now. He's still going first round, bro. Just his speed. He would have gone or early second. He would have gone first round or early second.
Bro, he was just height, weight, speed. That's it.
Exactly.
Height, weight, speed. That's it.
And that's why he was still going to be taken. He was still considered a first round or second round prospect.
Nah, damn, I don't even remember.
He was.
I don't remember that.
For sure.
Darius.
He for sure was.
Nah. I was shocked. Hayward Bay, I was like, what? Who?
Yeah.
Let me see Hayward Bay.
He was considered. I'm telling you, he was considered a first round prospect. I remember that draft class. It was. It was.
So he got drafted. Let's see. He got drafted.
It was
2009. 2009.
Hakeem Nicks, Kenny Britt, Jeremy Maclin.
So 2009.
Crabtree, DHB.
2009 wide receiver rankings. Let's see if we can find this. Let's see. 2009 wide receiver. Then we go on a crazy tangent real quick, but I just want to see this. Let's see. If you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. This is okay. Whoo, damn, Andre Johnson came out that draft. Whoo. Wes Welker came out that draft. Damn, Miles Austin was cool.
Andre Johnson was in that same draft? Nah.
2009. Oh no. He wasn't in draft. He was. It just showed the stats. I don't know why it just took me straight to the stats of 2009 season.
No, it wasn't in that draft.
No. I'm trying to see 2009 rookie wide receiver. Let's see, rookie.
I'm telling you, it was Jeremy Maclin, Kenny Britt, Hakeem Nicks, DHB, Michael Crabtree. Those are like the first round guys, I want to say. I think all those guys went in the first round. I think all those guys went in the first round.
Damn, AIs is just disgusting. It said Darius Hayward Bay, a receiver drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. I wish that was true. Was true.
Man.
Let's see. Oh, look. Oh, man. Shout out to Silver and Black Pride. They had back in 2009, they had a top 10 receivers from the 2009 NFL draft. Let's see what they were saying. This is back. Ah, damn.
What happened?
Nah, it was like an article made 3 years after they got drafted. Man, come on, bro. What's going on with this? All right, Walter Football. All right, Walter Football, 2009 NFL Draft wide receiver rankings. Number 1, Michael Crabtree. Okay. Number 2, Hayward Bay. No, I'm just fucking with you. Number 2, Jeremy Maclin.
No, number 2. You gotta be Jeremy Maclin, number 2. And
number 3 was Hayward Bay.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro.
Kenny Britt was number 4. Hakeem Nicks was number 5.
Hakeem Nicks. But I remember that draft vividly. Because that was I think Patrick Turner from SC was in that draft class too. And that's a guy, even though I hated SC, damn, Patrick Turner was like a guy that I was like, oh, we can get that guy.
Bro, how did they have Hayward Bay the 3rd ranked receiver though? Like, that's
telling you though,
wild,
you know what?
Bro.
I think, and
that should tell you about the draft process, man. It's not perfect, man. You gotta.
I think was Percy Harvin in that class?
Percy Harvin.
Or he's in next year.
He was not. Yep, he was number 9. He was on Walter Football.
He was number 9.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
That's
wild.
That's what I'm saying. So Hayward Bay to be number 3 is disgusting. Because I didn't see.
But I'm telling you though, bro. I'm telling you, people saw the traits. I'm telling you, that's what people don't. They genuinely aren't drafting. That's what GMs always say. They're not necessarily drafting on what you are. They're drafting on what they think you can be.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get that. Okay, so this is a note here. Darius Hayward Bay is a great player, well, at least in Al Davis eyes. DHB won't make it past Oakland in round 2. This is them projecting because they knew that they're. Man, this is sad, bro. This is sad. This is so sad. They knew. They just. But they thought it was going to be in round 2.
Round 2, yeah. But they probably didn't think a lot of receivers were going to go round 1 though.
Yeah, I could see this too. I'm over here. I could share the screen. Oh, what the hell is this? It's an ad. My bad. Let me see if y'all can see it.
Oh yeah, Chill right. Yeah, there you go. Chill right said Chill right said Percy Harvin too. Who else was in that draft class?
So okay, look, these are the rankings. So you see, Michael Crabtree's number 1. Macklin was number 2.
Yeah.
This is according to Walter Football Rankings, so this is probably not the best, but like I'm trying to find.
And look, what is his range from first round pick? But he's basically a late first round, early second. It's exactly what I say he's gonna be. He's projected late first, early second.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. This was bad. This is bad. Darius Hayter-Bay had just 38 receptions, 5 and his supporting cast was pretty pedestrian, so don't judge him on those numbers. Damn. I didn't even like how he damn.
What they said?
You know what? I'm gonna sound like crazy right now, huh?
What they said something about his quarterback?
They said his supporting cast was pretty pedestrian, so don't judge him on those numbers.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Yeah, his quarterback was trash. His quarterback was bad. His quarterback was horrible.
Darius Hayter was an inconsistent 2000. Again, NEC would have been go with garbage Maryland had at quarterback, Chris Turner and George Steffi combined for. But lo and behold, Hayter-Bay was just as bad. He was just as bad.
I mean, you got a bad quarterback play. Ain't too much you can do, bro.
Come on, man. Like, he left the Raiders, and what did he do? Like, let's not make excuses. Like, at the end of the day.
No. She's a bad player, but I'm saying if you're looking at him as a prospect, you can't. At that point, you don't know what he is. So you like looking at it like, man, like he has horrible quarterback play. He left the Raiders.
I get that, but then like,
yeah, but he went on.
So when I watched him play, you obviously watched him play when he was playing for the Raiders.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he made everything hard. Like running routes was hard, catching the football, like the way he caught it. It just seemed like he wasn't a natural.
He wasn't.
He wasn't a natural, catcher to football. It just everything just seemed hard.
Yeah, he wasn't a natural. He didn't start playing football till late.
I ain't gonna lie. The way he ran too, I ain't gonna lie. It was kind of. I was like, what the.
Nothing wrong. Come on, there was nothing wrong with the way he ran, bro. Come on, dog. Come on, there was nothing wrong with the way he ran. He ran, and the issue is that when the Raiders would get him, because he was tough, and he would run, he was physical, and when the Raiders would get him the ball on like screen passes and like stuff like that, he would be effective. They just didn't do that enough. So, and he left the Raiders and went to the Steelers and had a long NFL career.
Yeah, but.
I'm
judging him off. I'm judging off. Look at this. Is what I'm judging. I'm judging off where he was picked. Plus, I'm not looking at it from the lens like, yeah, obviously he's playing in the NFL. Like he's successful. He made it to the NFL. He's a professional football player. I'm judging it based off as a starting NFL receiver. Like he's not that. He's just not that. Not that. No. He's not a guy. He's not a guy that you game plan. He's not a guy that you make plays. No. Like you don't do that for him. You just tell him to block and just I'm just saying, like, I don't really look at him as a guy that you want to build around or even project to be a guy to start at all.
No.
But
we know now, yeah. And he shouldn't have been drafted as high as he got drafted. But like I said, he was still worthy of a first round.
I'm not gonna lie, Severe. They were killing the Raiders for it though. They were killing the Raiders though, man. I'm not. They should have too.
They should have.
No, but he got taken. But you just said earlier. You just said earlier that he was projected to go within like that range between the first round and the second round. But that being said,
he wasn't projected to be the first one.
There are a lot of people who viewed Hayter-Bay as a guy that wasn't worthy of that pick or even worthy of being picked in the second round.
No, it was a lot of like people were killing the Raiders for taking Henry Ruggs, but that's because they thought CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy were better. I thought CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson was better. I thought Ruggs was better than Jerry Jeudy, but you understood why they took
That was completely different, though. That was completely different because Ruggs shown you that he could play football. He played at Alabama. He was a deep threat. He was making plays. Hayward Bay wasn't. You couldn't really say that the same for Hayward Bay. It was a lot of projection. It was a lot, way more projection. It was way more projection.
Because he didn't have the quarterback play either. So he didn't have good quarterback play, or was playing or going to a school where at that point in time they were known to develop football players to their potential. Like if you come out of Alabama, you know you've been coached well. When you were coming out of Maryland at that time, it was maybe.
Yeah,
you feel
but
me?
That's my point though. It's not the same. It's because you just try to make it. You try to make a comparison to CDM. I want to see. I want to see the land in the draft.
It's similar because people didn't kill Henry Ruggs because they didn't think he was a first round pick. They thought he was a first round pick. They just didn't think he should have been taken over CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy. Just like people thought Darius Hayward-Bay was a first round pick or early second round pick. They just didn't think he should be taken over Jeremy Maclin and Michael Crabtree. People thought Cleveland Farrell was a first round pick. They didn't think he should be taken at 4. So that's why they killed him.
My point is that Henry. I get what you're trying to compare to in that way, but what I'm trying to say is that Henry Ruggs is a better player than a Hayward Bay. So even if they had those criticisms, which is fair because CeeDee Lamb and the other guys were more productive, Henry Ruggs was a better player. That's what I'm trying to say. I think Henry Ruggs is a way better player, and you could see the potential in Henry Ruggs. I didn't see the potential in a guy like Hayward Bay. Even when
you can see the potential in Hayward Bay.
Come on, bro.
You can see the potential in Hayward Bay. If you couldn't see the potential, I mean, that's because you didn't want to see it. That's because you're looking
bro.
You can see the potential in Hayward Bay. You can see the potential in Hayward Bay.
It's because he was fast. Because he was
6'4", 220 something, running a 4.3. Yes, he moved.
He was not. He was not 6'4". He's 6'2".
How tall is he? 6'2". Okay, 6'2", still 220 something, right?
220. I don't know if he's 220.
It's right there. It's right there. So you just scroll right down. It's right there. 210. Okay, 6'2", 210. He ran 4.33 or 4.3. So when you're that size, you're moving that fast. You don't get guys that size moving that fast regularly. And I think I want to say he bulked up bigger than that. We have to check the combine numbers because I want to say he's bigger than 210. But we'll just go with those numbers right there. So he's 6'2", 210, running 4.3 flat.
Right.
Like that's abnormal.
Yeah, but I wouldn't take a guy in the first round just because of that, though. Just because of that.
But they projected. They saw something else. And other people thought he was going to be.
And what I'm saying, I didn't see it. You saw it, but I didn't see it. And guess what? He didn't show it. So, it is what it is. He didn't show it. But we went on a crazy tangent. We went on a crazy tangent. But let's get back to the draft. Let's get back to the super chat, man. My guy Smoke, man. You started this, man. We got us on the Hayward Bay Pharaoh. My guy Daniel Kim with the super chat. I appreciate the support, man. He says, salute, my brother's just able to jump on technical. Yeah, man, we had technical difficulties earlier. So if you see the thumbnail title, you'll see part 1, part 2. This is part 2, obviously, but part 1 is when we first started the show, but we had to, man, it's technical issues, man. So, but we back at it. It's all good. Smoke again with the super chat, man. He stays supporting the show, man. I appreciate the support, my brother. He says, I don't know why, but Jeanty gives me T. Richardson vibes. Not saying he'll be bust like him. Nah, hell nah. Hell nah. T. Richardson, he had no vision, bro. Like when he got to the NFL, I don't know. That's not going to be the case with a guy like Jeanty. I don't think so.
I don't think that'll be the case either. But I will say nobody thinks the player is going to be that until it actually happens. So. Like nobody said like, man, this dude Trent Richardson about to be a bust. Like nobody said that. So until it actually happened.
No, they didn't. That's fair to say, but at the end of the day, I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that happening either. But
it's more about value. I think that's the main argument that's happening right now. Is like It's all about value. It's not about like, oh, this dude is trash, we shouldn't draft him. It's just like, how are the Raiders going to build a great football team? You don't draft a running back 6 when you have like offensive line, defensive line, corner, wide receiver. You know, we can keep going on. Needs.
Yeah.
My guy, man, my guy's supporting the show, man. We gotta link up soon, man. Are you gonna go to the event? I don't know if he's still in the chat. Are you gonna go to the event in Bakersfield? Let us know, man. Let us know. But let's get to the I think we were talking about it last time. But yeah, man. So the other pick that might be that's connected to the Raiders, which I think is a strong possibility, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how to feel about it. I wouldn't want it. That's just my first reaction, but I could be wrong. Is Jaylen Walker. Jaylen Walker has been connected to the Raiders at number 6, or even possible trade down. How do you feel about him getting drafted? I mean, I look at him as a guy he has a lot of different, he could be versatile in a lot of different ways, but I don't feel like he's great at anything. You mentioned that about Jeanty. I don't feel like he's great at anything, and he's more of like a tweener. So it's kind of risky. Like, he's not a guy that he's 6'1", 230. I think like 6'1", 230, around that. He's not a guy that you're going to play in early downs. You're probably going to play him at like off-ball linebacker, and then I guess in obvious passing situations, you use him as a pass rusher. Is he a guy that you can see the Raiders taking, or is that smoke?
I can see the Raiders taking him. I mean, he's super twitched up. He's one of those guys where, and in my opinion, he's a boomer bust, right? If you hit on him, you have a disruptive force that's a chess piece that you can do all kind of things with. If he doesn't pan out, you have a square peg in a world full of round holes, and he doesn't really fit in any particular place, and that could end up being disastrous. So, but just as a pure like athlete prospect, like dude, he's a specimen, and he's explosive as all get out. And the way Georgia used him was kind of unique. So like, it's kind of hard to really like get your arms around what he will be in the NFL, just because of like, he played like basically inside linebacker, but he was like almost free to he was free to do whatever the hell he wanted to, or he would just like spy a lot and he would blitz. Like, that was like damn, like 60% of the plays I watched of him was basically him like lining up an inside linebacker and then like blitzing.
I said this earlier before the show started. I said, like, Daniel Jeremiah has him like number 5 on his big board as far as best players on the available. I don't, and he's just ranking the best players of it. He's not ranking like in what order they should go, but man, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I'm leaning towards offensive line. I don't care what anybody says. If the Raiders are going to be a team that's going to like lean towards running the football, and I think there's nothing wrong than building the trenches, making that unit great, and then grabbing a running back later and then building from there. I think that's going to be the way to make at least the offense look be respectable with Chip Kelly and the type of offense that he wants to run. I think it makes sense, because we talked about earlier, a guy like Membu. It doesn't even have to be Membu. Raiders could possibly trade down and get Kelvin Banks. I know you're a big Josh Simmons guy. It could be one of those guys, and we can move Glaze inside. I just feel like that would be a great move to how the Raiders want to build it. We don't have. I don't like. We have Geno, but we know that he's a bridge quarterback. We have some issues at wide receiver. You can be honest with you. Wide receiver outside of Jacoby Myers, is pretty questionable. Outside receivers,
it's extremely questionable.
It's extremely questionable. Let's go. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. You look at the outside receiver spot. We know we need that. You look at the slot receiver spot. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Trey Tucker in the slot. He doesn't.
Yeah. Look,
I've been saying it. And this is a draft full of slot receivers, so the Raiders can easily kind of like, they can get a guy, at some point in this draft and get. And this is I don't think this is a receiver draft. There's a lot of outside receivers, but I think it's a lot of slots in this draft, and I feel like the Raiders can probably
a lot of guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do
a lot of guys that can maybe do double duty.
Exactly, and you can make a case that the Raiders should probably take a couple of receivers. Yeah. But then you start thinking like, man, we what do we say before, this whole offseason? Raiders should probably double dip and get two running backs. See, it's hard, man. It's hard to address all your needs in all in one offseason, all in one draft. So the Raiders are going to have to figure that out. Man.
But it's for that reason that you don't take running back at 6. What you just said.
Just saying. But yeah, man, I just think that, like, I think Spytek and Carroll are not looking at 2025 as a year that, hey, they got to make it to the playoffs. They got to go. Like, they're looking at it like, all right, we got a lot of different needs. Let's build it right. We got a top 6 pick. Why don't we just get the best offensive line? You know what I mean? Let's do it. Let's build through the trenches. Next offseason, then you can start adding more skill positions. Like maybe a starting outside receiver. Maybe I'm not saying that the Raiders not going to grab anybody, but most likely we're probably not going to get a number 1 receiver until like next year. If we go offensive line early and then you go into the second round, what's going to happen then when you get to the second round? Are we going to get a corner? You know what I mean? Some people might look at linebacker. They might look at, they could go a lot of different ways. They can go wide receiver too. It might be a slot. It might be the best slot. It might be a guy from Ohio State, Emeka Egbuka. So it might be a guy like that. Yeah. So
could be. I don't think he's gonna be in the second round though. I think he's going first round. I think him, Golden, and Tedero are going first round. And I mean, look, would I be surprised if the Raiders took Jeanty at 6? No. Would I be surprised if they took Mimbo at 6? No. Would I be surprised if they took Jaylen Walker at 6? No. Would I be surprised if they took Tedero at 6? No. Because Tedero, in my opinion, he's the best wide receiver prospect in this class. And he just offers you so much.
Yeah, that's out of pocket, man. He compared Jeanty to Tim Duncan. That's crazy. That's wild, bro. He's comparing Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan's a Hall of Fame. He is what I'm saying.
He's not comparing him as a player. It's more so like exciting to watch. He's not a player that he feels like is fun to watch.
Tim Duncan's. But some people, I'm sure Spurs fans, they loved watching Tim Duncan play. But like, you don't go back and watch Tim Duncan highlights. Like, oh man, let me check out this Tim Duncan highlight. Right? You feel me? It's like it's not something. It's just like, you feel me?
I think people were watching. People were watching Jeanty highlights. He was literally like, he was on a historic. Like, he had a historic season last season. So
he did. He had a great season.
Yeah, like every other game.
I wasn't watching Jeanty's highlights like that, because it was a whole bunch of tackles, which sometimes is cool. Which sometimes is cool to watch, but I like guys that I like speed.
You like speed.
I like speed. That's like, why
you like pure speed. You like pure speed.
I like explosive. I like explosiveness. It didn't even got to be like pure speed. I like explosiveness. Guys that are like explosive. But, I also like guys that are, the guys that are effective too. I'm not mad at a guy that's like Jeanty, like he's very effective. So I'm not mad at that. And would I be mad if we got that on our team? No, I'm not. And I'm hey, cool. Like Jacoby. Jacoby's one of my favorite players on the Raiders. He's not like, I won't be like, man, I gotta watch this Jacoby highlight. I'm happy we have him because he's an effective player. But it's not. I won't say I'm excited to watch Jacoby Myers. I'm happy he's on the team because he's good.
Man, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what we're hearing as far as the Armin Mimbu, Jaylen Walker, obviously Jeanty. I think we both can agree like Genty's kind of the smoke screen, possibly even Mimbu. But Jaylen Walker seems like it might be a possible. I think he might be the guy that gets picked. It's always going to be the guy that's going to catch us off guard because they don't want to. Raiders don't want to the Raiders don't want to let the people know what exactly they're going to do, and that's a lot of teams do that. They're going to tell you, they're going to make it seem like they're interested in this player. That's why I kind of disagreed with Mitch. Shout out to him, man. He was able to come through earlier, or we were able to talk to him about the Raiders. When he talked about the top 30 visits, I feel like teams use that to their advantage to, kind of like make it seem like they're interested in this player, but really they're not. You know what I mean? Just because they didn't bring in. How many times we've heard players say, hey, did you talk to the team? Or did you know the Raiders were interested? Or did you know this team was interested in you when they drafted you? There's plenty of players that said, like, nah, they didn't talk to me. We spoke once, and that's about it. They didn't even bring me in for a visit or anything like that. Like, boom. It's like, because teams want to get the players that they want to get. And if they let the world know, then other teams are going to probably get them before they can.
Facts. Yeah, you got it. That's that time of the year. Everybody is playing that same game where they're trying to throw everybody else off the scent of their trade. Center of their trail, right? They don't want to know who they're targeting, whether they be player positions, like if what they want to move back for, what range they want to move back for. A lot of these teams, they have intel, so a lot of times they can kind of surmise. They can make very educated guesses based on what this team has done in the past and things of that nature. But it's subterfuge time, man. We say it all the time. It's silly season, it's lion season, and they're going to use whatever means they have at their disposal, rather, to throw other teams off and to be as unpredictable as possible. And with the Raiders having as many needs as they have, I mean, they're a very unpredictable team.
Yeah. Jeanty reminds me of Reggie Brooks from USC. Reggie Brooks.
Yeah. Reggie Brooks, yeah. Maybe that. I don't know what position Reggie Brooks played, but that's maybe Jeanty is him.
Because at first I was gonna be like, Reggie Bush, hell no, not even close. Not that he's not a better player. It's just more. Reggie Bush was way more elusive, shifty, and just elusive, and like he would cut it inside, cut it to the other side of, like he would do it almost Barry Sanders like. He was not obviously the type of player. He was not the level of player of Barry Sanders, but just the way he was, just how he was able to embarrass like players and just, man, it was crazy.
Like I said, Jeanty's more slippery. Like I said, he's not like super juke shit guy, but he's more like, hey, you know what? You're not gonna get a square hit on me, guy. I'm gonna get small, and I'm gonna bounce off the tackle.
He kind of reminds me of Alvin Kamara in that way. Kind of slippery, you know what I mean? You can't really get a good hit on him. I
can see what you mean. That he's more powerful than Kamara for sure. I don't think he's not the receiving threat that Kamara is. That's what made Kamara so good in Tennessee. Is that he offered that added layer of receive. And Jeanty, he can catch passes. Like, I think that's one part of his game that's underrated. He's not like a bad catcher of the football. I just think there are guys that are better than him at it.
Jaylen Richard was 5'8".
Damn, that's crazy. Spook. And just think how little how little we think of him, bro. Like, that's crazy. Bro, yeah, man. Y'all really just trying to. And I don't hate Jen. He's RB1. He's RB1.
Hold on. Okay. Was Jaylen Richard really 5? Was he 5'8" or was he shorter than that?
Let me see. Let's look it up. I think he was 5'8".
He's probably there. Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like 5'8". Let's see.
5'8", 205. 5'8", 205.
Is that combine? I want to see the combines.
Let me see. I don't think he got invented to the combine.
Oh, he didn't? Okay.
Yeah.
Pro day?
Remember? Nah, he didn't get none of that. He went to like a division. He went to like a division.
Yeah.
He was some like what school did
he
he
was
go
a
to?
UDFA, right? He was UDFA.
He was UDFA. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to Southern Miss. He didn't go to the combine for sure.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know. Oh, he had a pro day. At his pro day, he was 5'8" and 3/8.
Oh,
so he's
muscle hamster. You talking about
Doug Martin?
He used to play for the Doug Martin. Yeah, he was good. He was solid for a couple seasons. Yeah. He was solid. I remember he.
So
yeah.
So let me ask you this: how fast do you think Jalen Richard is? If you had to guess, how fast would you say Jalen Richard? What time would you think Jalen Richard ran in the 40?
Man, when he first came into the scene, he was really fast. I think he felt like he got slower as time went on.
What would you say, like first on the scene?
4.4, 4.5, not 4.4, 4.5.
Okay, so do you think him and Jeanty like the same speed?
I think he was a little bit faster. And
okay.
I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I'm thinking this is
No.
Jalen Richard at his fastest was that Saints game. That was his rookie year.
Yeah.
If y'all remember that big play against the Saints where he just raced a couple tackles and then he was off to the races. Is Jeanty that? He might be. That might be. What did he run? Did he have any pro day numbers?
Yep.
What was his 40? What are you talking?
4.6.
He was a 4.6.
4.6.
I believe the 4.6 later on in his career because he was like he did not have the same pop that he did.
That's the pro day. That was a pro day. So those times aren't always the most accurate of times. So and depending on where his pro day was, it could be outdoors. Sometimes you get wind drag and that can be a factor too. So like those times ain't always the most accurate. But just on the field, like I said, you can run a 4.6 and not get caught.
Yeah, and like, all right, different position, but like Devontae Adams, like what he ran like a 4.5, 4.6 or whatever, but like he clearly had breakaway speed. Like he could take it to the house.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
time speed ain't everything, but guys, you can tell, you can glean a little bit from it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess an example would be like a Josh Jacobs. I never looked at him as a guy that had breakaway speed.
Yeah.
Like he was never that guy. His rookie year, he had a few long runs, but like he would always get caught. He'd always get caught. Like he never had like a 50-yard touch. It wasn't until like his breakout season where he had the longest run of his career, but that was like, oh damn, like he actually broke one and they didn't catch him from behind. He didn't catch him from behind or whatever, but that was the only example. Only example was that overtime game against Seattle. He had a great block from who was the wide receiver that always likes to. He used to walk barefooted everywhere.
Oh, Matt Collins.
Matt Collins. He had a great block from him.
Adrian
Peterson was generational. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yes, Adrian Peterson was generational. My bad. I forgot about Adrian Peterson. Definitely generational. And these are guys I'm talking about pre-draft. I can't speak to guys like obviously Bo Jackson was generational, but I wasn't around for Bo Jackson pre-draft. Obviously Barry is the same way, but I wasn't around for Barry pre-draft. And people thought Willis McGahee would have been one of those dudes if he didn't tear his knee up.
From Willis McGahee.
Miami.
He went to Miami.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Frank Gore? Not that he said generational, but he had a long career.
Super long career.
Long career.
And this guy, he was hurt too. That's one of the things I think coming in, he had like knee issues.
Let me ask you this. His speed, would you say is comparable to Jeanty, or is he faster?
I can't say just because I saw Frank. The most recent I seen Frank Gore, he was like 38 years old. So it's like that's what's in my brain right now. I'm trying to think of Frank Gore younger.
Hey man, being a Raider fan, the Bay Area 49ers, man, like I used to watch a lot of games.
I never really watched 49ers.
And I used to watch games, and like he was a great running back, but he didn't have great speed. Like he would break some long runs because he was able to break some tackles, but he would get caught from behind. He was never a guy that had great speed or whatever. But he might have been. You probably could argue he might have been a little bit faster than like a Josh Jacobs because he had a lot of long runs compared to Josh. I don't know. That's just me, but that's actually a good compare. Like who's faster, Frank Gore in his prime or Frank Gore coming out in his prime or like a Jeanty? Are they comparable?
I'd have to watch Frank Gore again to be give a fair assessment.
It's crazy.
Everything in my mind right now is he's slow. Everything in my mind. And I'm not saying Jeanty is slow. I'm just saying he's just not super explosive. He's like average explosive. Which is, you combine that with his vision and his contact balance, you can be a very effective player. And you can still run away from people.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Hey, we appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's move it along, man. Let's get to that time, man. It's flag on the play.
69, offense. He was giving them the business. He played it there.
All right, so it's flag on the play. Severe, if you want to give the intro to the first flag on the plate.
So you know what? We'll keep it Raiders. Obviously, John Spytek and Pete Carroll, they had their pre-draft presser. And as we already talked about, they're on full-on lie mode. And they would not be specific about any players they talked about. But there was one particular instance where they were asked about a particular player, and Pete Carroll, that was his Oscar moment.
His Oscar moment. All right, let's see what he had to say. All right, let's see. All right, let's go.
Can't.
You hear it?
Can't hear it now. Still no.
Oh, you can't hear it at all?
Can't hear it at all. Nope.
Damn, that's weird.
He's like, hey, forget it. We don't need nothing happening.
All right.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure you guys all saw the presser, where at one point Pete Carroll, they asked John Spytek I believe they asked him specifically about Ashton Jeanty, and then Pete Carroll turned over to him and was like, be careful. Like, come on, bro. Like, it was one of those situations where it looks like they're trying to make it obvious that Ashton Jeanty is the target, and it's obvious that, like, everybody, and it was a complete failure because everybody that's in the profession that has seen it says, like, you know what, this is the most non-believable performance that I've seen. Like, that makes me think they're going to take Ashton Jeanty even less now, but them acting like that, and especially because Pete Carroll is a savvy guy, so they know he'll try to do something like that to try to play up their interest in the player, and the fact that he's doing it makes them say, you know what, they're going a different direction.
Yeah, it was flag on the play because he made it really obvious. To me, it was really obvious. But I think they kind of gave away what their real intentions are, and in my eyes, and I think you agree as well, is that the Raiders want to trade down at all costs.
Yeah.
Or they want a team to trade up above the Raiders to grab a Jeanty, so a player from that range will drop to the Raiders and they get a really good player from there. So that's also possible as well. So we'll we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, we had to give the flag to old man Carroll, man. He had to. He tried though. He tried to fool us.
He ain't as sharp anymore, man.
He tried to put a serious face on too. He was just like, "Are you sure you want to, answer this?"
Yeah, exactly.
I wish y'all could hear it, but let's just move along to the second flag on the play. We're not done. We're actually going to move on to a different sport. Yes. This one is basketball. We got some basketball fans here, and if you guys been paying attention to what's been happening in the NBA, or what had happened in the NBA, was Luka Doncic was traded. One of the best players in the NBA, which is a trade that you rarely see a guy that young in his prime, that great, with that much potential, get traded for a bag of peanuts. Well, not a bag of peanuts, but pretty much. It
Damn, that was a shot at AD, dog. Damn.
I mean, nothing against Anthony Davis, but he's on his way. He's still in his prime, but he's injury prone. You got a younger player who obviously is on the up and up. It just was an uneven trade. Everybody was shocked that happened. That being said, the flag we talked about earlier, it was a flag on a play that the trade happened, but it happened because of a guy named Nico Harrison, the GM for the Dallas Mavericks, and he was asked recently, like, were you aware of how much of an impact that Luka Doncic had on the fan base? And this is what he had to say. Let me go ahead and play this clip.
Did the anger and outrage from the fan base, has that exceeded what you were kind of planning for?
Yeah, good question. I did know that Luka was important to the fan base. I didn't quite know it to what level.
To us, how?
Man,
That's crazy.
The
bro.
fact that he would say that is just crazy because it just, you know what? Looking at this situation, and I gotta look into all the, because I heard it was super dysfunctional what was going on with Dallas Mavericks. That's a whole different conversation. But
Yeah.
I feel like what's the Luka Doncic getting traded is bigger than Nico Harrison wanting him to get traded. I think it's bigger than that because for him to say that, it's like almost insulting everybody's intelligence. Like, what? Yeah. You didn't think the fans were going to be pissed that the best player on the team, the guy that they really like, they literally got season tickets to watch every. You didn't think they were going to get mad?
Just took them to the finals.
Just took them to the finals. Yeah.
He just took us to the finals. So he's their franchise player, their best player. The best player they've had since Dirk Nowitzki, who was their greatest player of all time. It's like you say you don't know how important he is to the. That's crazy. Crazy.
Donald says, heard Nico was forced to trade Luka. The new Mavs owner want a casino built in their stadium and going to move to Vegas. Whew.
That'd be wild. I've heard stuff like that too.
Yeah, and I've heard something like that too. And I think it could be true because I don't think any GM could get away with trading a player like this. Like the ownership would have stopped them. Like there have been so many. It would like. I think he was probably forced to do it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't make any sense. I don't see how it made any sense. Like I know they try to say that, oh well, you know what, Luka Doncic is not the hardest working player defensively. You know he's not, but it's like, but you trade him for injury prone, in his 30s player. I mean, Anthony Davis is a great player in his own right, but obviously he's kind of like, bro, as soon as he got traded, he gets hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And then everybody else got hurt. But that's one of those moves where, bro, you gotta, at that point, it's easier said than done. But they ask you to do some stuff like that, you gotta be like, you know what, I'm not doing it. And if they try to force you to do it, you gotta resign, because that's gonna be a stain. Like nobody's gonna remember the owner. Nobody's gonna remember who's the owner. Like they're all gonna remember Nico Harrison, the guy that traded away Luka Doncic. Like they're all gonna remember that dude forever.
Alec, Luka plays enough defense for the Dallas Mavericks to go to the finals. Luka plays enough defense for the Lakers to instantly become a team that a lot of NBA teams don't want to play in the playoffs because of LeBron and because of Luka. They're in the playoffs because of Luka.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I think it's bigger than Nico Harrison. We're giving Nico Harrison a flag on a play for that comment, but it just seems like he had to say. He doesn't know what to say. Like you could tell, like he just like.
You don't want to throw the ownership under the bus.
Yeah,
you don't want to throw.
You could tell, like there's no like he knows that the fans are gonna get angry because Luka got traded. For him to say that it's not, it's just like damn, like you don't want to say what the real truth is, and it's something bigger had to be in play for Luka to get traded. Mavs to get rid of GM simply for that statement. Kid needs to walk, quit. Yeah, well. Was Jason Kidd a part of that decision making? I don't know if he was a part of that.
No, he wasn't. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. Outside of Nico outside of Nico, the Dallas ownership, Pelinka, and the Lakers ownership. They kept everything quiet.
They didn't want to pay $400 million. Yeah, I heard that argument, but man, like, what are they gonna do now?
Yeah,
like, they could have easily traded Luka and got something more. They could have got plenty of first-round picks back. They could have got a better player back, but for some reason they opted for this deal, which is strange. But you know, it is what it is. That being said, make sure to clock in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, Nico is definitely taking the heat for sure. He's taking all of it, bro. Yeah, man, boss. Yeah. Daniel Kim is bigger play for sure regarding Vegas. They own casinos and LV. Yeah, man. See, people. Hey, man, we got pretty smart chat here. They know what's going on. Nico's career is done. There's no separating yourself from that decision. He fell on the sword.
Yeah, fact. That's gonna follow him forever, bro. It's gonna follow him forever.
Like, if you're, what could he have done though? Can he just have like quit? Just left?
Yeah. You leave, You leave, and be like, and you tell everybody this is what's going on. Well, you know what? You just leave. You know what? You just leave. You don't even tell anybody what's happening, because that can keep you from getting a job somewhere else. You just turn your resignation. Like, know what? I can't have that staying on my legacy. It was a pleasure working for you. I'm a tender my resignation. Effective immediately. And then they ask you for something. You make up some cover story. Health issues, family, something. You make up some cover story. Keep everything hush hush. Let them go on about their business, and you will find your next job.
Yep. Yeah, man, it is what it is, man. But yeah, man, that wraps up Flag on the Play. Make sure to clock and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. But we're not done yet, man. Let's get to notable quotables real quick. Let's play some notable quotables. Severe, if you want to give the first notable quotable.
So the first one, we will go with longtime veteran NFL writer Steve Weish. He was recently talking about the Raiders, and we always talk about several positions of need, whether it be wide receiver, running back, linebacker, cornerback. But there's one position we have been speaking we've been talking a lot less about. And he says the Raiders are basically guaranteed to take one.
Yeah, they've got 9 overall picks. And to me, they made it abundantly clear a quarterback will be used in some way to acquire a quarterback, even if it's used as trade bait to get a veteran quarterback in there. Let's not forget what Pete Carroll did when he first got to Seattle in 2012. They spent, at the time, $36 million on a 3-year deal to get veteran Matt Flynn to be their starter. What happens? They draft Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. Oh, and guess who beat out Matt Flynn to be the starter? So Pete Carroll, we talk about the competitive spirit. This is what he's all about. So again, I think they're going to have a quarterback in there, and not just a training camp arm, somebody who can come in and give Geno Smith a run for his money, even though Geno Smith is their guy. Another position that they didn't shut it down, and we heard right there, is running back. We know Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State, if he is there at 6, could be somebody who's highly appealing to them. We know Pete Carroll wants to run the football. He will draft a running back in the 1st round. We saw him do that with Seattle. We saw at USC, he had star running back after star running back. So that is a core type of player. We'll see later in the draft, offensive tackle. We know Colton Miller's having some contract discussions. They got a lot of ways that they can go, but you heard some slight things in there with Spytek talking about, hey, we value skilled players. We don't undervalue running backs, the quarterback. They got a lot of ways they can go, but I think those 2 valuable spots on offense will be fairly high on the Raiders' priority list.
You know what? I mean, I know they're trying to add competition. It's strange. Who would that be? I mean, I kind of looked at it from getting a young quarterback more to sit down and develop, not to really push Geno year 1 for a starting job. Now, if they drafted a guy in the 1st round, maybe like obviously Cam Ward, which is out at this point, he's going number 1. Shador, I'm not sure if he's a guy that's in play. Maybe if he's available in the 2nd, which is crazy to say, just because he was a guy that early on was like, oh, the Raiders are gonna pick him at number 6.
He might not make it to 6. Remember, he's like, man, will he make it past? the Browns and the Giants, and like, will he be there at 6? And now it's like, oh man, we can trade back and maybe get Shedeur.
Well,
like, dang.
What should tell you something is that like Jackson Dart, who originally accepted the invite to go to the draft, rescinded it, so he's just gonna stay because he feels like he doesn't want to risk like probably embarrassing himself, like staying on national TV just waiting for his name to get called. Shedeur is not going to the draft as well, so he knows that it's a strong possibility that he might have to wait until maybe day 2 to get drafted. Maybe if Shedeur is there in the second, possibly, maybe if that happens, maybe. But I kind of like the, I don't know, I know you're not big on it, but I kind of like the Jalen Milroe later, as early as the 3rd, because I don't think
third
he's
I can do.
I know.
Third.
He's not. I don't think he's gonna drop to the 4th. That's the thing, bro. He's not gonna drop to the 4th.
He might not even drop to the. He might not drop to the 3rd. But I just, man.
I know.
And I don't like him. It's just that.
But I just like him in this situation. I like Jalen with Geno start. I'm like, cool. Geno could be the start. Let him develop. Take his time. See what you can make. If he's not the answer, convert him to running back, and then go get a QB next year. You know what I mean? Let's or the following year, whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is that like he has those traits that you can possibly bet on. But man, it really depends, man. He's been linked. Jeremy Fowler did say that the Raiders are eyeing. You could take that for what it was worth. He's a ESPN insider. He's saying that the Raiders are eyeing Jalen Milroe as a guy that they can slide, as in that backup role and develop behind Geno. So I like that. Because you can see like, hey man, if he figures it out, if he could, develop certain parts of his game and and get better on the bench. You got a Greg Olsen who's a QB coach who has a history of developing quarterbacks, and that's his specialty. That's OC, no. QB coach, yes. So I think that could be a good move, but is he going to be there in the 3rd round? That's hard to say. It's going to be tough, man. But yeah, let's move it along to the second notable quotable, and I believe the second one is the GM for the New York Jets. I thought it was a good notable quotable just to get an idea of how like the GMs and these NFL guys like put together the draft and they get into the process of everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip.
Good. I thought I'd give you guys a little kind of peek behind the curtain since we last talked in Florida at the owners meeting since we got back. That Monday, April 7th, was the first day of the off-season program. We could have players back in that phase 1. Have had a great turnout thus far. It's good to see the players back in the building, working hard, lifting, running. There's a good energy in the building, having the guys back in. That same Monday, April 7th, I believe it was, we started our draft meeting. So we had all the college scouts back in town. How those draft meetings would go, we'd be up in the draft room. All the college scouts, the analytics department, AG, myself, we'd have the coordinator. We'd bring the position coach up. Let's say it was the running backs that day. We'd start with top running back, go right down the list. Talk about the player. The scouts would talk about the player. Analytics would talk about the player. The coach would talk about the player. We'd watch some film. We'd watch the pro day. We'd have good dialogue. We'd work down the list and take the whole day to really stack the list appropriately. Next day, we do a new position, and as we go through all those positions, that's kind of how you build the board, and we stack the board. So we feel really good about where the board's at today. After this meeting, I'll go upstairs and get into our final medical meeting. So we'll be in the draft room with all the doctors, revisiting a handful of the players' medical to make sure we have the appropriate tags and know their medical situation. Again, maybe tweak, adjust them appropriately. That'll be a few hours. It's a long meeting. After that, we will have our final security meetings. So we'll bring in the security group and talk to some of our folks and scouts about any legal issues that some players might have in the past, pending, address any legal issues. Again, make sure we have those things down, any alerts, tags, and adjust them appropriately. And then after that, we'll have just our final touch points with the coaches. So I'll bring the position coaches up one at a time and kind of have them in the room, and AG and I'll say, okay, this player, that player, you're comfortable with these guys. What's the vision like? We bring this player in. How's he fit in the team? What's his role going to be? Some of these coaches have had Zooms or top 30 visits since we last had their position meetings. So we'll follow up. Hey, you talked to the player again. Any concerns? We feel good about them. And again, it's just minor tweaks. But at this point, the board's pretty much set. All you can do now is really overthink it and make some minor tweaks. But we feel really good with where it's at. The process has been awesome. That's a credit to the coaches and the staff. And trying to think if there's anything else these next few days. I'll be making my calls, call 31 teams, talk about potentially moving. Everyone kind of says the same thing, a lot of nothing like you'll hear today. We're open to move up or back. You typically get more, we're willing to move back.
So the reason why we're playing this clip is because you can see how thorough the front office is when they prepare for the draft. They're literally they don't just put a list of players that they like. It's more so they're looking at everything when it comes to a prospect, whether it's their health, everything they have, any information they can have on a prospect. So I think it's very important because sometimes we look at a team and they pick a player and we don't understand why they take a player. I'm sure there was a lot of thought. For example, Raiders taking Brock Bowers last year. At the time, when you first heard the pick, we're like, didn't we draft the tight end last year in the second round?
Yeah.
But Brock Bowers is one of the best players in last year's draft. He was projected to go, some people as early as top 5. He dropped because with all the quarterbacks going early. So we were able to get a blue chip player at a position that, we found out that, a guy like Davante Adams didn't want to be here. So it kind of looking at it from that perspective, it worked out because now we have a guy on offense that the Raiders can build around in the pass game. Because imagine Davante Adams leaving and we didn't have a Brock Bowers. That would be a whole the way we would.
We probably have a higher pick in this draft class. I'll tell you that much.
No, facts. But yeah, man, if you haven't already, make sure to click in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Dylan Sampson, he says, your dark horse running back, Anthony. Hey, man.
Yeah, I like Jaylen Sampson.
And he might be there. He might be there in the third. We did a few mocks where he got taken in the second. That's the one thing too that I'm kind of it's going to be interesting. When we get to that second round, where that running backs is going to start? Is it going to start in the early second? Is it going to start late in the second? If it starts late in the second, I feel like we can get a really good player in the third round.
Yeah, it all depends. I've been watching a lot of stuff. I've been watching a lot of stuff on Travion Henderson, and since I've been watching a lot of them, all the videos, when how the algorithm works. So I've been seeing Broncos fans all over, I hope we get Travion in round 1. Travion is our dream pick in the first round. I'm like, dang. They want this dude in the first round. So it could be a situation where Jeanty goes. I don't know. You don't know where Hampton's going to go or where Travion's going to go. And we don't know because Pittsburgh needs a running back. The Broncos need a running back. The Commanders need a running back. And it's but the Steelers also look, you need a quarterback. So are they going to go quarterback and go Shador? Does he fall that? Do they go Dart? The run could start late first. And if that's the case, we got to get one in the second. And Sampson could be a guy that's there. I like Sampson a lot.
I just hope that when it comes to Denver, I hope they get I hope they reach for a running back, some guy that everybody projected to go in the 7th round, and no one really believed him. But that's not. I just hope they don't get like a Hampton or any of the guys that we like. But there's so many good running backs in the draft. Like there's gonna be a few teams that's gonna end up getting a good running back. Smoke says, did you guys see Paul Heyman go off on Pat McAfee show? Paul unloads the clip. Yeah, that's man, right. that was it was too real for YouTube, man, for us to even play that. But he did go crazy. I'll say that he went crazy to the point where like Pat, he didn't know what to do. Pat was like, no, this is not true. I did not say that. But literally while he was talking, he was like, that's not true. That's not what I said. Like, it was hilarious. Y'all gotta watch the clip because I'm not doing any justice because Paul Heyman went in. Like, he just came in there like not caring at all. At all. Tell me, you're the guy that you say whatever you want to say, and they can't do anything. Like, he was going crazy. He was going crazy, bro. He was going crazy. OJ, man, hey, why people so low on Scatterbo? I don't think people are low on Scatterbo. I think guys like, I mentioned Maurice Jones-Drew. That was his third-ranked running back. Yeah. He had Jeanty number 1, Henderson number 2, and he had number 3. He had Scatterbo. Yeah. So there are people out there that are high on Scatterbo. It's just at the end of the day, like, I think that he's probably going to go as early as the 2nd, but I think if no later than the 3rd. I don't see him dropping to the 4th. There's no way. Yeah. I think he's a good running back. Denver's 100% drafting Hampton. No, please. I hope not, bro. I do not want to. Different strokes for different folks in this running back class. Some people just stylistically, it just depends on what you want, what your offense fits. Yeah, it's a lot of different type of running backs here. During college, Judkins was Gibbs 2. During college playoffs, Judkins was Gibbs 2.0. I mean, but as far as like the last game against Notre Dame, he had the better game. But against Texas, Henderson had the better game. Scatto doesn't have the breakaway speed. I think he's not a shifty downhill runner. Has pretty good hands. But I like him, man. I think he's a good running back. I think he ran well on his pro day too as well. Like, he ran like 4.6, I think 4.5, like low 4.6, low 4.5, 4.6. No, he ran a 4.5, or that's what's reported. But oh, maybe that. Nah, what's that? It? He ran a good time. He ran a 4.5. I thought it was slower than that. Okay, man. I don't. Well, I'll look it up. Let's get the right information. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember. I thought it was 4.6. I thought people were like, yeah, that's about where we thought it was gonna be. But all right, let's see. Let's take a look here. Scatterbo. We got the chat gangsters in the building. It's 4.5. It's 4.5. Reportedly ran a 4.53. Ran 4.53 to 4.57 range. Yeah, the lowest or the slowest time was the 4.57. That was reported. Okay. So somewhere between that, you know what I mean. But that's actually a pretty good time for him. To be honest with you, that's a pretty good time for him. But I like Scatterbo. If the Raiders could get him in the 3rd, I just would want to get a guy to compliment him, a speedier option, maybe like the Raiders kind of like looking to maybe checking back maybe in the 5th. Yeah. But it's gonna be tough, man. I don't know. I think a lot of teams are catching on that the running back class is pretty good, so everybody's gonna try to get one. So we'll see. And the Raiders do have other needs too as well. So it's not like the Raiders can just double up on running back that fast and not draft a corner, a linebacker, O-line, depending on what they do to start the draft. What's your guys being on? Higgins, you're talking about out of was it Iowa State? Iowa State. Was 6'4" guy. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him. Yeah, I think he's going to be available in the 2nd or 3rd. I wouldn't mind him at all. I think he has a skill set that what we like in T-Mac. You know what I mean? Not that he plays like T-Mac, more so like he kind of gives you size. I think he's like 6'4". T-Mac's about 6'4" as well. So I think that'll be a nice pickup. But look, at this point, if we don't get a guy early in the draft, like in the first round, I'm good with waiting. I'm good with waiting.
Yeah, you might have to at that point,
bro. Because then we're gonna miss.
Unless you get Luther Burden or Kyle Williams. Maybe Luther Burden. You can get Luther Burden in the second, possibly.
But
maybe
is it
Kyle
worth
Williams in the third?
Is it worth missing out on the running back? Run
Depends
that's
on
gonna
what
happen
you go in the first round. They think what you call it. They think of Jeanty going 6. They pick Jeanty 6. And if you pick Jeanty 6, you got to get offensive line help in the second round. No, you can't. At that point, you got to. So you'd have to wait. You have to go hope Kyle Williams there in the third.
Yeah. Man, it's gonna be tough, man. I think if you go running back first, then maybe you can take a look and see what the best wide receivers on the board in the second or third round is. But if you go offensive line or any other position, then and you want to prioritize running the football, then why don't you try to get the best talent available as early as the second or third round? And if you're going to get a wide receiver early, I know Spytek has a history of getting a running back and a Bucky Irvin and some other running backs too. I think Rashid White. I think he drafted later. Rashad White. I think he drafted later in the draft as well. So I know but I don't know if that's the right move to upgrade the running back room, especially how the Raiders are currently constructed. Like maybe you can get away with that with the weapons that they already had on offense with Tampa Bay. Yeah,
because you already had Mike
Evans. You had Godwin at the time. When Tom Brady was there, you had every weapon that you can imagine when he was there. And then and then at AB, and then fast forward, you insert Baker Mayfield, who has all these weapons, so they were able to get a running back later, and it worked out for them. But for the Raiders, I don't know if they want to wait too long and miss out on some of these good running backs, which I feel like there's a lot of good value between the second and third. I just feel like that's where the run is going to start, in the second round. Let's see here.
It might start soon.
You said again?
It might start sooner.
Yeah, like in the first round. It might start in the first round. Let's get to what's real, what's not.
Yes, sir.
Let's get to what's real and not. Let's go ahead and look at the first. This is where we say a statement. You guys react to it by saying it's real or it's not. The first what's real, what's not statement. The Raiders will not draft a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. The Raiders will not draft a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. Is that real or is that not? The Raiders will not draft a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. Is that real or is it not? So we talked about the T-Max. We talked about, you mentioned Luther Burden. Someone in the chat mentioned Jaden Higgins.
Brent Blood, I was a 4.5 guy as a sophomore. Yeah, that's my 40 time in high school. I was 4.5 guy as a sophomore, as a 15-year-old. Faster than Ashton Jeanty as a 15-year-old.
Brim said false. Are you saying false that Severe ran a 4.5 in high school, or false that the Raiders are okay? Now I think he's talking about the statement. So he's saying it's not real. Donald says not real. Raider Smoke says not real. False. Muda of Miami says real. They don't draft wide receiver in the first 3 rounds.
It all depends on, in my opinion, it depends on whether or not you think they take Teteroa. If they don't take Teteroa at 6 or in the first, I think they can. I think they might wait a minute.
Yeah. Like, all right, I could see taking a guy like T-Mac early, but yeah.
You know what?
You say
I'm gonna say not real. I'm gonna say not real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say not real.
I'm
anticipating a trade back. I don't know if they still don't know if they take receiver in the first, but I think they pick up an extra second or third, and they use that.
Okay. So once again, the statement is the Raiders will not take a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds, and I'm gonna say it's real. Just because if they go offensive line, if they go edge, which they're right now, that's who they're kind of connected to. And they're doing their best trying to not make it seem like they're going in that direction. They're talking about the Ashton Jeantys of the world. They're talking about every other player except for that. I mean, they as of recently, they start talking about offensive line. But if they go that route or even corner, you go into the second. We just talked about like that running back. It might start at the end of the first. You think about the second round. I think it's real, man, because I think you got to take a running back. And on top of that, this might be smoke, but let's say it's real. They talk about the Raiders taking a quarterback as early as the second round.
Yeah.
Which, who that may be, you can fill in the blank of who that could possibly be. As early as the second round. Doesn't mean it's going to be in the second round, but as early as the second round.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, where does that leave? All right, wide receiver. You get to the third round. If you take an edge early, you go into the second round. You take a running back. You take a quarterback. You go into the third round. Who you taking? You taking a wide receiver? You taking an offensive lineman, offensive guard? When we do our mocks, who's the favorite guy that we pick in the third round? It's a guy out of Georgia, Teddy Radledge, I think.
Oh, Teddy Radledge.
Yeah, Tay Radledge. Or we could look at corner. That can be a possible option, but
yeah,
I'm okay. I'm okay with not addressing wide receiver this year, just because I think I just feel like we're gonna go another position early, and I don't think we're gonna go get T-Mac early. I think T-Mac can go as early as the 5th pick to Jacksonville, but also, even if he's on the board, I think the Raiders can possibly trade down and go a different position. If they go to a different position, then the way the draft is set up, I just think that and the way the team is set up, the way they're going to want to play offense, running the football, prioritize running the football, if they can get a speedy option and a veteran, I'm good. I'm good with that. And when I say vet, meaning they can sign a player that's available in free agency right now. Who's still available? Tyler Lockett, who's yet to sign. I know you don't like that. Keenan Allen is still available, veteran option. You got Amari Cooper, who's still out there, veteran option. But look, you guys are you're taking it as guys that we're gonna count on to be a number one. No, I'm not saying that. They're going to be role players. Whoever is going to go in there is going to be a role player. Because who's the number one option on offense? It's Brock Bowers.
Right, yeah.
Then you got Jacoby Myers.
Hopefully the run game. Hopefully we get the run game together. That'll be a number one option. But yeah, Brock, in terms of passing, it's going to be Brock.
Exactly. So I say it's real. But, we'll see, man. We'll see.
I'll say this. I was just looking at their draft class. Last year, they were arguably in need of a RB1. And first round, they went offensive line. Second round, they went defensive line. Third round, they went wide receiver. And then they didn't take it. We know they didn't take it back until they took Bucky Irving.
Yeah. Who are you talking about? The Raiders or Tampa Bay?
Buccaneers.
But the Bucs already have Mike Evans and Godwin.
Yeah, and they still took a receiver third round. And they needed a back. They needed a running back. And they didn't take one until Bucky Irving in the fifth. Fifth, right? Yeah, fifth.
It could happen. That could possibly happen. I've heard that. I've heard that point of view is like, oh, Spy Tech has been part of the Buccaneers who addressed running back later in the draft and still got some value and was able to get a good player.
Yeah.
But
think about all the organizations she's been part of. They've all had success getting running backs later. The Broncos, that was their calling card. Like, bro, we could put anybody back here. Mike Anderson, Alendis Gary.
Because they had a system. They had a system.
What does Chip Kelly have?
We don't know yet.
But I mean, I think everybody that's looked at it has said, you know, his running system is
right.
A1. So.
Yeah, but who also played for the Denver Broncos at that time with that system and was balled out?
It's Peyton. Talking about Peyton?
No, at running back. Like that system of running the football. You're talking about like that zone blocking system with Mike Shanahan and how they were able to just throw in a running back and you know what I mean.
I'm talking about when which color was there though? When Zeke,
when Peyton Manning?
When Spy Tech would have been there. It wasn't the Mike Shanahan years. It was the later years, but you know they were still running zone.
But the idea of a system and putting in a running back and still being successful, like the best that looked was with who? With Terrell Davis, Clinton Portis.
Yeah,
you know
Clinton Portis. Yeah,
Clinton Portis is monster.
But what did they do with Clinton Portis?
Oh, they traded him, or they let him go.
No, they traded him for Champ Bailey.
Great trade.
Excellent trade. You know why? Because running backs ain't that valuable, man. That's the moral of the story.
Well, that was at the time where like people value running the football and playing that style of football, and it was kind of transitioning to passing the football. And I think like Champ Bailey's one of the greatest corners of all time. But Jerry Porter had like his 3 touchdowns to get him in that Denver game.
Cooked him. But look, but that's even more so, right? At a time when the running game was still like, hey, you know what? You gotta have you a running back. You gotta have your running game. Like the league was starting to make that transition. They hadn't made it fully yet, and they traded one of the better backs in the league. And guess what? Turned out to be a great trade. Oh
yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean,
Clinton Portis was a dog though. Like that's no hate on Clinton Portis.
Clinton Portis, but that Champ Bailey was a better player than Clinton Portis was at running back. I don't even know why did they even do that trade. What the hell were they even thinking?
I forgot what happened, but people didn't think it was that crazy of a. People didn't look at the time. People didn't think it was that crazy of a trade, if I recall correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Now it looks bad, but back then people didn't think it was that wild of a trade. They thought it was crazy because usually player for player trades don't happen.
Champ is probably in my top 3 or 4 corners of all time that I've seen personally.
Would he be in mine? No, he's still not in mine.
Champ.
He'll be 4. Well, I guess for 4. He'll be 4.
I think 4. Champ is. Who you think is a better player, better corner, Champ or Charles Woodson?
Charles, I'll give it to Seawood. I give it to Seawood.
I think you can make an argument that Seawood is a better like defensive player because he's just like the fact that he made that transition from corner to safety, but like lockdown corner, Champ Bailey was a lockdown corner.
Yeah.
Champ, Darrelle Revis.
It's Darrell Revis.
Darrell Revis was like, he was shutting down like
Everybody.
everybody. Yeah.
So, I mean, Champ would be there. Champ would be there because usually just people I've seen. I mean, I saw Deion, but I didn't see Deion. Like I didn't watch. Like not when Deion was at Deion. Like a kid.
We could acknowledge that Deion is probably the greatest corner of all time. You know what I mean? Because his impact on the game and like, we understand. But like, we're just being honest. Like,
yeah. It was,
but I'm for sure putting Champ in there. But Rod Woodson, you know what I mean? Like, that's still that was around the Deion time.
Exactly. I didn't see Rod Woodson at his prime, so it was I can't really judge him like that. It'll be a Champ, Sherm, Charles Woodson, Darrell Revis. Oh boy, who's old boy from the Chargers? He was cold. Who the Chargers?
Oh, Cromartie.
Yeah, Antonio Cromartie was.
Man, he used to get shitted on. He used to get shitted on, bro. He used to get shitted on. He was athletic.
He was cold with the Chargers. After he left the was the Chargers was he with the Chargers first or the Jets first?
He was pretty solid with the Jets too. I ain't gonna lie. With him, Cromartie and Darrell Revis. That was that second. That second there was cold.
Yeah. Ty Law was cold. Oh no, what? Nah, who gets not enough love? Nah, who gets not. Ty Law is another one that don't get enough love. But who does not get enough love? Aeneas Williams.
Oh, for the Rams?
Yeah. Oh, no, who else? Man, how do we forget? Man, just retired. Patrick Peterson.
Patrick Peterson was good too.
Cold.
He was good. But yeah, Champ. Nnamdi was good too, but I ain't gonna lie. Nnamdi was a little bit of a stain with me when he left the Raiders. And just seeing him get shitted on. But I was like, damn, bro, like you're really just a press corner. Yeah. Like you were never meant to play in that type of system. And what sucked is like he never redeemed himself. Like I knew that he had something left in the tank. Like he just bounced. He was like he just bounced. I was like, what the hell? Like I know you can still play, bro. Like I was like, what the hell? So it was just
so bad. He started acting.
Yeah, it was just like, man, because at that time it was like, who's the best corner in the NFL? Nnamdi or Darrell? Like Nnamdi, you know what I mean? I was like, man, Nnamdi is
Nnamdi, and Champ.
But
Nnamdi,
like Darrell,
D'Angelo, Darrell,
D'Angelo Hall, like he was trash. He was more of a he was not trash. He was a zone corner. Yeah. And he was a ball hawk. But he got exposed when, like, Al Davis tried to make him into something that he was not.
He tried to make him play press man, yeah. He's not a press man corner.
And did he trade him? Or he released him in the same...
He just cut him. Like after week 4 or something like that.
Damn,
cut him.
Bruh. Raider fans have seen everything.
Was that Eddie Royal? Was that Eddie Royal that did him dirty? Was it Eddie Royal that did him dirty?
Yeah, first game of the season. Was it first game of the season? First game of the season. It was against either Broncos or Chargers.
It's the Broncos. That's Eddie Royals with the Broncos. I remember I wanted Eddie Royals out of Virginia Tech. I forgot what year that was, but I wanted Eddie Royals. I wanted us to draft him, and then we didn't. And he cooked us. I was like, but yeah, he made. Oh my God, it was bad, bro. That was Lane Kiffin's.
You know what?
Year.
Yeah, Charles Woodson. Yeah, Charles Woodson is in top 5 for sure. Charles Woodson is top 5. Yeah. I just don't want to be too biased, because I ain't gonna lie. I could get too biased with the Raiders. I could easily be like, hey man, Tim Brown, but you know what I mean? But I had to, like, when I seen Jerry Rice come to the Raiders and just instantly become like the number one guy, like, and
he didn't though. Tim Brown put up but he was older than Tim Brown. Tim Brown was number 1 the year 1. Jerry Rice his number 1 year 2.
Jerry Rice was he was LeBron. His longevity.
Oh, yeah.
He was like 39, 30, and he was still like putting up numbers.
Balling. He left us and went to the Seahawks and was still playing.
Bro, that's crazy. But yeah, Champ, Charles Woodson, Darrell Revis. Nnamdi, I ain't gonna lie, I have to keep him out the top 5. I was like, I like Namdi, but it's a little bit of an asterisk. A little bit like, man. I'm trying to think. I'm leaving out somebody. I feel like I'm leaving out somebody. Let's see what the chat is talking about.
Ty Law, Aeneas Williams.
Ty Law, I'm not gonna lie. Like, would he be the same corner with the rule changes? Because he was like in that time where they would be super. They were super physical, and then they start calling. Remember, they started adjusting the rules, and they were calling ticky tack. Like, you couldn't really.
But so what? So
But
part of
Tyler
the
was a
reason
great
why the
corner.
Patriots. Yeah, I'm trying to take us off track too much. So part of the reason why the Patriots will always be, and this is why I say you can't separate what Brady did from what Belichick because part of the reason why, because remember they would always play the Colts
Early on, especially.
They would beat them all the time. But with Bill Belichick, and I forgot, was it who somebody was talking about it. There's like, look, Bill Belichick told him, like, look, get physical with these dudes. They're not big. They're not big wide receivers. They're not, like overly tough. Get physical with them. It's like they're not going to call a flag on you every play. So just get real super physical with them. And then eventually, like the game, we're going to be able to dictate the terms of how the game is played. And that's what they would do. They would just beat those dudes.
No, I agree. Especially early on. It was Patriots defense. Brady was managing the game and playing big in big moments, and they won Super Bowls. And then as Brady developed and became an even better player than he was coming into the league, they start building around Brady, or at least like Brady was able to take. And it took off, bro. And you notice a lot of the quarterbacks that have like early success, they have like the same kind of start. Low key. They come in, they're not asked to do too much. They have a team that's able to like hold down like a good defense, a good running game, whatever case.
Yeah, a lot of
a lot of like the Ben Roethlisberger, same type of deal. Comes into the Steelers, defense is probably one of the best in the league. Run the football, all that stuff. So it's kind of similar type of situation. But let's get to the Jalen Ramsey.
Is he top? I want to put him top 5 for like what we talk top 5 like recent corners.
You won't put him top 5. I know why you wouldn't put him top 5.
Oh, because of Steve Smith thing.
It's a stain. It's a stain, bro. That's a stain in your eyes. You can't remove that stain. Asante Samuel was a ball hog, but
he was a ball hog.
He's not. He wasn't a
guy.
lockdown. Yeah, he wasn't like a lockdown corner. He wasn't a guy that you lock down that side of the football, like lock down this corner. Like Darrelle Revis, even Namdi. Namdi was that, but Namdi was like very press corner.
That's all he
like when he plays a different system, he got exposed. But a guy like Darrelle Revis, you could put him in any system. Champ Bailey, any system. Charles Woodson, any system. Ty Law, the physicality part, I don't know if it transcends, but he was dominant in his era. So
I think Aeneas Williams could have played in any system.
There you go, Aeneas Williams. Rondé Barber was a cover 2 corner. I don't know.
He's cover 2 corner, yeah.
He's a cover 2 corner. I can't put him up there with them guys. Hell nah.
Yeah.
Hell no. But let's get to the second what's real, what's not. If you want to go ahead and give the second what's real, what's not.
The second what's real, what's not. As we know, the draft is approaching. And we have been disappointed many a draft night. But the statement is the Raiders will have the best draft they've had since 2016. So on Thursday night, concluding on Saturday, between those 3 days, the Raiders will have the best draft they've had since 2016. 2016,
they got.
How was that? Almost 9 years ago? Or 2014? 2014. 2014.
Oh, yeah, 2014.
2014.
2014. 2016 is when they went to the playoffs.
Yeah,
2014 was the result of the good drafting they did in 2014.
Yeah.
So that 2014 draft, if you guys remember, Khalil Mack, number 4, number 5 pick, the Raiders picked him. Then in the second round, they were able to basically get their quarterback for the next 9-10 years, Derek Carr. Then they were able to get a starting offensive guard. They had Gabe Jackson, a nose tackle.
Justin Ellis.
I don't think Latavius Murray was drafted in that. Yeah, I think he might have been drafted the year prior.
He was the year before.
Yeah. But he was like a stash. That's why it kind of confused me a little bit. You know how like when a player gets...
Did they take Keith McGill that year? I think they took Keith McGill was that year. He wasn't no good, but he wasn't no good. But I wanted him to be good, but he never turned out to be good. I wanted Keith McGill to be good.
Let's see, Keith McGill. Let's see, 2014 draft. But anyways, it was a great draft. Great draft. Can history repeat itself? You know what? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna be positive here. There's no reason for me to say no. There's no reason for me to say no. So I'm gonna say it's real. Say it's real. But if they draft Jaylen Walker, I'm gonna be scared. I ain't gonna front. I'm gonna be like, oh, at number 6.
You guys hear this? You guys hear this? This guy has been a Raiders fan for how long? Has seen how many drafts go horribly wrong, and he says there's no reason for him to doubt that the Raiders will have. You a better fan than me, Pharaoh.
I'm gonna be positive, bro. I'm gonna keep you positive. I'm not gonna
real. Not real. It ain't even be better than last year's draft. He ain't gotta go back to 2014. Can't be better than last year's draft, and the answer is no. Or will it be better than last year's draft? The answer is no. It will not be better than last.
Well, if they can get, so last year they were able to get 3 starters. That's the way I'm looking at it. They were able to get 3 starters.
3 full-time starters, yes.
3 starters. That's what we know of now. Can some other players from that draft develop into something? Possibly, but I'm not.
We know who ain't developing into something.
His name rhymes with Shmabi? No, let's see.
Yes.
Let's see. Raiders. Okay, well, all right. So what would be a better draft since 2014? Would it be like 4? Because so last year was 3 starters, right? So 4 starters. Are they able to get 4 starters this year?
No, we can't go by that metric because this team got so many holes.
No, we have to. We're talking about draft. We're not talking about the team how it's currently constructed. We're talking about the draft.
But I'm saying because we might have to start those guys out of necessity because we have so many holes. I need 3 guys that are. I need 4 high-level players. We all agree Brock is a high-level player. JPJ is a high-level player. Glaze is a.
Don't even think about it.
So Glaze is a good player, but I think Brock turns Glaze into high level because they average out. So like I'm not expecting them to get all-time great player. Brock is an all-time great player. Glaze is a good player, so that averages out to a very good player, right? So I need 4 good players.
How you did your math there was wild. Look,
because they're not going to be able to get a Brock. Like asking them to get another Brock plus a very high level starter plus a good starter, that's not fair because they're not going to get Brock.
If they can get 3 starters or more from this draft, I think you can make an argument it's the best draft since 2016. You can make an argument.
It won't be
Someone can make an argument.
Last year.
But
because
I'm just
Brock
saying,
Brock is like generational.
But what happens if? Okay, you have Brock, but then this. Let's say, all right, we get a good player in the first, a better player than JPJ in the second, and then a good player in the third. Then you start thinking about it a little bit more. So what I'm saying is that you can make an argument. Now, whether you agree with it or not is like, all right, it's up to you.
Nah, it gotta be damn near definitive. You need 4. You can't have 3, and it's like, oh, I say this. Nah, it gotta be clear. I need 4. I don't want no.
Okay. Let's say all right. Let's say okay. Let's say we get Membu, right? Let's say we get Membu. I'm just throwing it out there. We get Membu at right tackle. He's not a generational as Bowers to begin with. Bowers came in generational. Exactly. He was like, God.
Exactly.
But he comes in, and we're one of the best running football teams in the NFL. Because second round, we grab who? Henderson, one of the best one of the best rookie running backs in the NFL.
Yeah.
If not one. What I'm saying is like you if that happens, then you start thinking about it. You can make an argument and be like, all right, that's all I'm saying. But it's subjective. It's all subjective at the end of the day. But I get what you're saying.
I don't want no subjectivity. I want clear. I want clarity. 2014 is better than last year, right? We could agree on that. 2014 is better than last year.
2014 is better than last year. Hell yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. 2014 better than last year. So
just
that's
because
clear,
the amount,
right?
TJ Carey too.
Okay, so you got 4. So that's 4, right? Last year we had 3.
That's slot corner. Damn.
And plus Justin Ellis was rotational guy. So we got Mac Carr, Gabe Jackson, Justin Ellis was rotational guy. TJ Carey played meaningful snaps as well.
Keith McGill in the 4th round.
That's nasty. In the 4th?
That was ugly.
That's nasty, man. And not in the 4th. He's like Utah. I want to keep McGill to be good too, man. I want to keep McGill.
Well, hold up, TJ Carey. What TJ Carey was drafted in? Let me see. Man, this is.
He might not have been that draft. He might, because he was drafted out of Ohio, but it might not have been that draft.
Or was he a UDFA? No, he.
I don't recall.
Oh, okay. Look, Shelby Harris.
Harris was UDFA.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Khalil Mack, Derek Carr, Gabe Jackson, Justin Ellis, Keith McGill, bad. TJ Carey in the 7th. Shelby Harris in the 7th. Jonathan Dolan in the 7th. Okay. So that's like Shelby Harris, a good rotational defensive end, had a long NFL career.
We wasted.
TJ Carey starting nickel corner. Justin Ellis, obviously the nose tackle. Guy that you put in to stop the run.
Yeah.
So you could possibly see 1, 2, 3, 4 starters. 4 starters and like 2 contributors, role players.
Yeah.
Damn, that's like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I need 4 starters. I need 4 good starters. Can't be like, oh, he's starting, but we looking for his replacement. Like, you got to be 4 good starters. I need 4 glazed. Nah, see, I got to be higher than glazed, because 4 glazed starters, that's not even like, that's not competing with Brock and JPJ, what they bring. I need 4 good starters. 4 very good starters.
You know what? No. You know what? All right. Let me be real. Let's be real about last year's draft. It was 3 starters, and I don't think anybody can remember anybody else in the draft.
Man,
the average person will not. They don't remember anybody. We obviously remember with the Cameron Richardsons, the Dylan Lobbies, the guys that even make the team that got cut that was drafted in the 7th round. You know what I mean? Like guys like that, we remember them, but like it's just like
Trey Taylor.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, if they're able to get 3 starters and some role players there, I'm like, you could make an argument like, damn, it could be a better draft. Wow. It's just Brock Bowers. That's what it is. Brock Bowers being how great he was.
And JPJ.
But no. But what I'm saying, JPJ can get canceled out. He can get canceled out.
You got to be. JPJ is damn good, though.
No.
Damn good.
What I'm saying, he can be canceled out, meaning that, like, they can easily draft a really good player in the 2nd again. so he can get canceled out.
But remember, I can see that, but JPJ was. That's what I'm saying.
It's really like, Brock Bowers. That's what's kind of messing it up. Like Brock Bowers.
That's what's dragging it up because Brock Bowers drags up because if you just look at the average of the three guys, Brock Bowers is dragging up Glaze. Like Glaze is dragging him down because Glaze is like a good player. He's not super good. Like JPJ was very good. Brock Bowers is generational potential, best player at his position in the league. You're not gonna get that this draft. That's what I'm saying. I need four JPJ level players. 4. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Right, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm gonna say it's real. I'm gonna believe in Spy Tech. I'm gonna believe in Spy Tech and what he's doing. They're gonna build through the draft. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is, but they can make it work. I mean, look, if they're really smart about what. So far, they've the whole offseason, they really haven't made any dumb decisions. Some people might argue they should have signed and overpaid for some of these defensive free agents, but at the end of the day, they're replaceable.
Yeah, they made dumb. Some decisions I wish they would have made differently. I wouldn't say anything they've done was like dumb. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, ain't no stuff. Ain't no Roger Saffolds. Ain't nothing like that.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if it continues in the draft. Like the way they handled the offseason has been pretty good so far for the most part. Like nothing where you looked at it was like, man, what were they thinking? What were they doing? Maybe there was, if you want to like nitpick here and there possibly, but I'm not really. The draft is where I'm going to really see what they can do. And so far they've said all the right things. I mean, Spy Tech is coming from his pedigree. He's coming from like a Tampa Bay Buccaneers where they drafted well, and hopefully he's able to do that with the Raiders. That's what I'm betting on. But we'll see, man. We'll find out in a few days, man. But we appreciate everybody coming through. It's been a great show. If you haven't already, make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Severe, my guy, man, where can we find you? What to look forward to? Let people know.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, on IG, on Snapchat, on TikTok, on X, basically all social media. The Severe Raider. Tuesday nights, man. 50-50 show, the world famous 50-50 show with my guy PharoahNFL. Tonight y'all got 2 episodes of the 50-50 show, man. Y'all should be blessed.
Part 1, Part 2, man.
Then also, the Raider Roar Room Tuesday afternoons with my guys, Chris Protect the Shield, 805 Raider. Around the Shield on Thursdays, live for the off season. Probably during the season we'll probably transition back to the Fridays, but keep being on the lookout on the Thursdays for now. And then Sunday nights, the Raider Roar Room as well. Chris from Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. Be on the lookout this Thursday, night 1 of the NFL draft. Probably doing a whole bunch of different stuff for sure. Going live post draft with my guy Pharaoh and Chris from Protect the Shield, and maybe a few special guests. We got some stuff in the works.
Yeah, man. Stay tuned, man. So this Thursday is next time where you see us. We were thinking about doing a final mock draft, but obviously check out Severe. I think you did a mock draft with your guys 805 and PTS earlier. Yeah, so definitely check that out. We just ran short on time, but
check out me and Chris tag teaming and beating up on Leo and Turf. We did a tag team mock draft.
Oh,
yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Oh man, definitely check that out. But yeah, we'll be back here next this Thursday, post draft. So We'll be watching the draft, obviously, and then from there we'll react to what the Raiders did in the first round. Hopefully, they can trade down, get the best player available, and then we can look forward to the day 2 and some of the picks they'll make in day 2. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Is there anything you want to leave the nation right now before we head out?
We better not take Jeanty at 6, man.
Hey man, we out of here, man. Jeanty's the most explosive player to ever come out since since Barry Sanders.
This is Barry Sanders. He's LT and Barry Sanders in one.
All right, we out of here, man. Peace.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.